you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid.
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
And Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Welcome aboard. It's the Monday edition of the Huddle. Drew Olson, Bill Schmid, and that gentleman, Armen Sarian, back from the desert, back from vacation.
What's up, guys?
What's happening, Armen? Again. Great to have you back, my friend.
Well, great to be back, guys. Great to see both your smiling faces this morning. And, it's just, what a weekend of turmoil in the sports landscape. So I guess it's fitting that I'm back here for it. I don't know why.
Yeah, less than an ideal weekend. Yeah. However, Drew, I definitely thought of a couple of different pranks that we could have pulled on Armen, but it was nice. It was nice to see that Kia parked right back into his company MVP parking spot right out front, and knowing that we were in good company here this morning.
Exactly. It's great knowing that Armen is going to be pushing the buttons today. He's back with us until he leaves again at the end of the week.
Yeah. It's the way it's been going this month. So
here I thought we are approaching low tide on the sports calendar. Masters is over. College basketball Final Four over. A distant memory. Buck season over.
Finally.
Still a week leading into the draft. Still got a buffer zone, although we can start talking more draft this week. It's like, all right, what's going to happen? And then lo and behold, the sports god said, oh, I got something for you. Doc Rivers out. Chris McIntosh out. Brewers with a 5-game losing streak to sweat through right now. Our cup runneth over. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, it's wild to think that all of a sudden middle of April weekend could feel like a mid-October weekend with the amount that we would come in on a Monday morning with to discuss. Sure, there's no coverage breaks that allow a touchdown to break down into a Packers or a Badgers game, but good Lord, the amount that just happened and transpired. I mean, let's be honest, over the last 36, 48 hours, you clump in the fact that you had a 1-0 lead and just dominating the national title game for the men's hockey team that people started to get a little captivated with at the UW, and then just no fault in losing to a Denver program that's an absolute wagon, but in that fashion, it's a tough one. And then they put up the full numbers, Drew, of the Doc Rivers era of Milwaukee Bucks basketball. And I didn't anticipate that Jason Kidd's numbers were potentially going to look better. Right?
Baby.
I didn't anticipate 98 and 104, a missed playoffs to end it, and a pair of first-round exits is how you follow up the 30 or 40 game run from Adrian Griffin and then the Mike Budenholzer era. It is a lot to discuss and a lot of change, especially after 34 finally talks in front of some cameras last night.
And 200 games, I mean, is a lot of games. For some reason, it just didn't feel I guess it felt a lot worse when I saw that. When I saw that overall record, I'm like, boy, it wasn't as, bad overall record-wise as I thought. A lot of it was that early first year. But as we know, it's just not wins and losses that have judged. We're going to be judging this Bucks team, right, guys? I mean, over the last few years, the window, whatever you feel about it, was there or wasn't, and that's the way we were going to judge it. And it's been colossally bad this year, so it sure has felt worse. And a lot. What somebody asked me on Twitter. All right, now that the game's over, the season's over, how quick can we fire Doc? And it was only 2 minutes later. I was like, well, there you go.
I was in the drafts.
Yeah.
So done fired, resigning. Do we
Whatever.
Get language? Just parting ways.
I think it was the way that I saw it.
Ways.
And
although he's going to get paid.
Well, that was the fun
I knew
way
that was going to happen. So he's like, he'll be a consultant.
And I couldn't remember which one it was. I think it was Shams did point in there, Drew, his 8-figure salary. So he ain't giving a dime of it back, which is the other part
That's
of it.
The Jim Calhoun, not a dime back.
Hey, now the Bucks will only be paying 2 NBA coaches. Right.
We're getting better here, Billy.
Moving in the right direction that way. And then into
are they done paying Griff?
I believe they're done paying Griffin.
Okay, because that was after this season. Because I think
at the end
him and Doc. So
I think at the end of this year they'll be done paying.
Right, so then they'll be
Adrian
paying,
Griffin. So next year, in the era of change, you only pay 2 coaches. One, potentially is still pulling all the strings. We don't necessarily know, but the way that all of the reporting has started to leak out, sounds like Doc had a lot of control from that ownership group. It sounds like he had a lot of say in what was going on and transpiring, and opens up even a lot more. tough questions for one Doc Rivers before he walks into the Hall of Fame coming up next year.
And I think it opens up questions in a lot of ways, and we'll get into it. But, John Horst, I mean, there seems to be a question of how much control he really had, or how much say he had, or how much his voice was being swayed by seemingly Doc, who was just seemingly like the czar of basketball, basically there. And what's going to happen now next? Is he going to still have a big voice? All the Bucks fans that were kind of wishing for his departure and waiting for this, I guess, sort of like the McIntosh thing, like fans waiting for something else to happen or hoping for a change. What kind of change will you get? I think still that's the question looming for me in this whole situation.
Who's the next Bucks coach? Who do you want?
Well, Darv, right? Darvin, I mean, is what people keep saying.
Yeah.
Right?
In-house, sure, but
I don't know that I'd be that upset with Darvin Ham. I would like them to cast a wide net. I'm not even going to act like I know all of the people that should be available for it, right? Because I guess I can't say that I knew my man Darko was a candidate for an NBA job in Toronto. I've loved what he's done with the Raptors. Tough thing is they've had a couple of guys in-house over the last 3 years, Drew, that have gone on and been really successful NBA coaches. Now it works out when you get Con Knippel to break the NBA 3-point record in your second year being a head coach for Charles Lee. But they've had some really talented guys leave, and maybe it's a Taylor Jenkins who's out there who was here before. But if you're not going to be coaching Giannis, I don't know that it matters at all if you've had ties to this organization before, Drew, because it is and the biggest thing is because of how Giannis has described it, and he's exactly right, it isn't the same organization that these guys
If Giannis is gone, this is a rebuild to the studs.
Total tear down, yeah.
One of the names, Sam Cassell, interesting name. He's a rising star, and he would be hilarious, has history in Milwaukee.
But he's been a lead assistant for a lot of years.
Yeah. He's regarded as like
a lot of chances.
He's like, next.
Yeah, it
kinda.
seems like he's been
in
that realm where he was going to get a chance very soon.
Guy Jordan Ott, who's with Phoenix, and Johnny Bryant with the Cavs, that are the assistant guys that are getting some run there.
Is this a chance now because of the changing landscape in college where you might think you'd take a chance on a big college coach that's tired of the situation and said, all right, I'm coaching pro anyway.
And then, Rondo has been around Milwaukee a little bit, helping out.
Rajon Rondo's been a guy.
In that Bucks interviewed Becky Hammond.
I was going to say, I could see a Becky Hammond being interesting. Wasn't Dawn Staley's name? Didn't it start to seep in to a couple of searches last? Like, I think everything's going to be on the table for him. And I don't
Terry Stotts. That'd be the most hilarious thing ever.
That would be an interesting one.
Terry Stotts, that would be funny, and he's a good coach.
What
obviously.
if they had gone with Terry Stotts in the first cycle, and he had Dame and Giannis? I mean, it's a completely different consideration right now.
Well, and that's where, I mean, we tend to look and just encapsulate the Griffin part in his run as the record that they had when they let him go. You forget that was after he coached one game that situation seeped out, or was that before the season even started? Like, was going to be your most seasoned veteran assistant to be able to help with, and he bailed. Like,
James guy, all that
it
stuff.
It all started right there, and you mentioned the name right there of Damian Lillard, where a lot of this ends up stemming from that deal. And it is crazy to think, and the irony wasn't lost on me last night when I'm looking at the entire 20 teams that are going to be playing postseason basketball. And the Portland Trailblazers are in there. The Bucks are not.
I know.
Oh,
how did the Bucks not win 44 games? Right? It's like, how did you? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
this
they
was going to be a
weren't
gap
listening
year.
to Doc when he said,
"Yeah,
I'm pretty disappointed in all of you."
It was pretty bad.
It was terrible. I think you say that, Drew, and it's true because we've been so used to winning, at least with having certain guys, but when you have Giannis, you felt like that's an automatic 40-some wins, but we didn't have Giannis most of the year in body or in mind. I don't know, either way. And I feel like the talent around him was just not good at all. I mean, there were some nights here at the end of the year where you're like, I can't believe these guys are on an NBA roster. At least some of them. At least it does feel that way a little bit. So how they not win, I understand that. I kind of agree, but it sort of feels like, man, early in the year when you started, like, when the Gary Trents of the world and Torian Prince and all these things didn't work out or got hurt, and you're like, man, this really isn't going to be working well, is it? And if Giannis can't stay healthy, there were just issues all year. So it's been kind of a nightmare season for the Bucks, especially the last month. For Bucks fans, just wanting it to end because you didn't want to hear any more, of the next episode of As the Honest Turns with the organization.
Oh, well, just get ready for that.
And it's not going to change.
Yeah.
I get that.
Get ready for that.
What's happening in his future will always be the case. But the whole we're pursuing the league because I can't play and all that situation,
So,
man.
Then it begs the question: how attractive is the Bucks' job? Like right now, you got to hire a coach, and then he'll find out if Giannis is going to be in the mix or not. So is that a chilling effect? Does that make? I mean, if you're Taylor Jenkins, you want a gig, right?
Yeah, you want an NBA gig, right? It's 1 of 30. Now, the interesting thing is if you're trying to lure somebody out of college, then maybe you'd want a little bit more certainty. I actually don't think that's a bad idea when you think of how young the team's probably going to be, but with all the assets that they end up going and getting. But Drew, I got a sneaking suspicion that the new coach is going to have a pretty clear idea if he's going to have Giannis or not, right? Like, I think that's pretty set in stone. It would then depend on who you would be able to potentially help decide that you're going to go in and pick who you're going to be able. Maybe you have some roster say here from John Horst, who just continues to be around and just got extended, but it doesn't sound like he had full unilateral control over what was potentially happening. If you listen to some of those Shams reports, that it's just, I think it's attractive because it's an NBA job. But I'll have to see all of them that are available. If you can rank it 1 through 4, 1 through 5, I do struggle to think it's going to be at the top of any list.
Yeah. So that it would behoove them to strike early, I would think. And if they're going to give it to Darvin Ham, make the move.
Well, that's why I think they had that graphic penned up. That's why they had that one holstered up more than what was that? The 2019 Eastern Conference Finals when the first Giannis potentially wandering eye story happened, and that's when he got up and left the press conference when Malika Andrews asked him the question. We got the Chris Middleton meme of
adversity. What was the question?
Sorry, what was the question?
Playing on the road.
So that one they had ready for about 2 weeks. They might have had this one ready for 2 months. They might have had this one prepared when everybody was asking us. Our friend Pete waking up early with us said it was well past time for Doc to get the axe. Horrendous 3 seasons. They might have been planning this for quite some time, and they knew the string was going to have to get run out. And now all of a sudden we've reached the deadline here on April 13th.
But if this was a plan, like you said, and a mutual type decision, then how much has really changed? And then the next question is who's really calling the shots ownership wise, right? I mean, is it Jimmy Haslam? Is it the governorship? Is it all those type of things? And if it is Jimmy Haslam, is it going to become we're now Jimmy Haslam's team and Jimmy has to get Jimmy's guys in? And are we going to be run well? Because it seems like even though, West is still there, the whole Lasry Edens ownership, trust is not going to be the same anymore. It's increasing control for Jimmy Haslam, and if he's making the decisions, how much power does he want in the situation besides just being the governor or being the owner? Does he want to make more basketball decisions? Does he want to have his guys in there for better or for worse? I think that's still kind of a lingering, unanswered kind of cloud of a question that no one really knows because we don't see Jimmy Haslam, it seems like.
Yeah, and this is also going to interestingly, now we've talked about Darvin Ham. Dave Yeager also on that staff is a former head coach. Like, I wonder how much politicking behind the scenes you're going to start seeing. And we'll start seeing what the fractures were going on in that locker room. Apparently it was like a funeral. Charles Barkley had some takes on what the Milwaukee Bucks locker room was like. We can play those coming up a little bit later on. But there's a thought as to you have to be able to get some kind of a shock. It seems like they want to have somewhat of a splash. I don't know that there's that guy out here other than maybe if it's going to be a turbulent couple of years, maybe Sam Cassell, a former player, does give you a little bit of goodwill, Drew. I don't know if they're hiring in that sense, but with the lack of control over your first round pick, with the lack of assets, it is a tough sell to be giving to whatever and whoever the top head coaching candidate ends up being.
You're saying we might be coming up to a Keon dueling like goodwill type year where it's like, we have a local guy and this is the fun local team, but we might not be winning this year. Is that what you're saying? Billy, is that the future that's upon us?
Might be a couple years.
Couple of years where we hire Sam because it's a name, or Karan Butler, for instance, a Heat assistant for 6 years.
Local guy. I like that.
Local guy. I mean, I don't know, but maybe that is an angle that goes
Karan's
to
old school, man.
One of those type of guys. So it's just things.
The thing is, though, the coach is just like the Bucks have 99 problems. The coach is one.
It is one.
It's a bigger.
Right. It ain't number one.
It ain't number one. No, it's like they have other issues, like stretching Dame's salary and signing Miles Turner and just the lack of youth and length and guys that can play the wing.
I
do love
competitive
Usman Jang.
wings.
They got some pieces.
Yeah.
Derry Bird is their all-time leading single-season three-point guy now after yesterday.
That's amazing. But yeah, that's true.
We'll save that for game balls and kicks the balls, which is coming up soon.
Rollins, I mean, you do have guys that you think of, okay, maybe you can.
Yeah, I don't know if Rollins is a guy you can build around and win
I don't
with
either,
or not.
but I don't know.
That's going to be the key question.
That's the thing. It was so dysfunctional this year. It's such garbage time that it's hard to tell. I mean, the Kuzma experiment didn't work.
And that's where clearly, Drew, the amount of in and out on Giannis was difficult to know, because when it was clear in his frustrations that he vented rather publicly when he came back a couple of times, being like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know why they're not giving me the ball. For the majority of the time, as you mentioned, it was such losing ball and losing time that it was, let me make sure I get mine. And then when the big fella comes back, there was still some possessiveness over that. And that's kind of set more from the top. But Giannis last night, when asked, you going to be back with the Milwaukee Bucks? It's a very good question. I don't know. It's not up to me. We'll see.
And that's the line he's been.
It's not up to me. We'll see.
And he's been consistent with that line now for how long? To the point where he's trying to make the point where it's like, hey, maybe it's not my decision. You guys all assume it's will Giannis stay or not. And he wants
he can't
to make
trade
the point
himself.
That
he can't trade himself.
But he could say, I'm going to sign the extension and stay. I want to build here.
Well, yeah.
You could end it that way.
Or you could very well do what everyone else does in the league and say, excuse me, I would like to go play somewhere else, but make it public and say what you want.
To his point, though, and it's a formality because they really can't give him the contract extension till October. He's like, it hasn't been offered yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all fiction. So, it's not a consideration yet.
Is there any world where he wouldn't be offered it, though? I think that's I don't think so either, but
I mean, they laid it out with Ramona Shelburne, right? They said he's either going to sign the extension or we're trading him.
Or we're trading him,
one of two things.
Now, the interesting one would be, Armen, if all of a sudden, like right at the end, it was the language was different, that it wasn't technically one.
Something like that where he could perceive it as I wasn't offered the deal.
And you'd be getting real messy one or 2 days before the first game, right? Because October 1st is when Drew pointed out, right? Like that's the day that the offer can officially be in the hands of his agents, and they read this over and say, this is no good. This is not what we agreed to. This is not the standardized language that we're getting here in a Supermax deal. So maybe the varying degrees of it would be, and then again, then you really, really get into a toxic situation because you got a guy who is going to be right at the end of the line of his last offseason under your control, going into 82 games, and you're hoping that somebody is desperate enough to go and shell out and sell out everything that they have when they've already depleted those assets and built a team that they like. Now we start watching the NBA playoffs to start seeing what teams with a bunch of assets get bounced out in demoralizing fashion.
Yep.
So now you need to hope for a lot of 3-1 blown leads in series and a lot of ownership groups to say, we're a Giannis away.
Mr. 3-1 just stepped away from coaching the sideline.
Ouch. Emotional damage. Yeah, I mean, man.
Well,
that's a tough thing that's going to be hanging on his legacy. And you're dang right.
He's a Hall of Famer, and we love Doc.
Is this a victory really quick before the break? Is this a victory lap for Shams? Like that's part of Pete had this comment. Shams sourcing is accurate. Like, they had the little back and forth.
The thing is, Doc had Giannis, that stuff with the Knicks, Giannis basically confirmed that there was smoke there and it was true. And it's like, well, Giannis, you've been denying it all this time. And now it was like, we tried to get to New York. And
see, that's the part of this. It can all be changed if one guy tells you what he truly is feeling. And we haven't wanted to be the bad guy. And now put up or shut up time.
Armen, you were gone when this started percolating.
Yes.
Right. And you were weighing in and taking some strays. El Baldo was getting after you because you're such a cockeyed optimist. You're such a Billy Mumphrey of a fan.
I am. Maybe that's a blind spot for me, but it is.
And it's taken Armen to realize, Buddy the Elf left the building. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, that is true. That era is gone.
Many things are true, though. And the thing is Giannis like everybody else? Sure. But I will say this. Giannis has been exceedingly consistent in his belief. He has said throughout his time, going back to the time you said, Billy, in the Eastern Conference Finals, like he wants to stay in Milwaukee and he wants to play for a team that can compete for a championship.
He has said both.
At present, those two things seem to be in conflict because it doesn't seem like the Bucks are ready or even close to even thinking about, a 4 seed. Much less playing for a championship.
And that is the problem from hell.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
But So he has not changed. That has always been his stance. The Bucks have changed, and the paradigm has changed. The chessboard has changed, but he has not changed. So I think he's being consistent, right?
I would agree, and that was kind of one of my original points on this whole
So,
deal. Yeah.
but
It's been a week and a half
he's
now,
also, Brett Favre played the country bumpkin for years. I spent time yapping into microphones when Brett Favre would, the barn's on fire and here come the trucks, and Brett Favre, the guy who kicked over the lantern in the hay bale, said,
Where are those guys going?
What are those guys doing here? What happened? What are you guys doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why is this going on? What happened? Dude, come on. So yes, it's an evolution. We've seen it before. We've lived it before. Just get your popcorn ready. I just have a feeling the Bucks, though, if Giannis leaves, the new coach isn't going to sell tickets, and they're going to be back down to the hardos that were there.
Oh yeah,
but right in the age before Giannis.
Get
like
yourself
the
to a
hardcore
Wendy's, and you might be getting some
NBA
tickets.
fans who love the league and will follow, and they love the Bucks, and they'll follow it.
Pick and save
the bandwagons left the building.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing, Drew, a lot more of the advertisements that I grew up with, which was come see Kobe and the Lakers.
Yeah, come see the other team.
Come see Luka and the Lakers.
Yep.
Come see the
Market
Timberwolves
the
and
other
Anthony
team.
Edwards.
Get your free James Harden beard for
It's
the first
coming.
5,000.
It's coming.
Oh, that made me
The
so mad.
MVP Shay's on his
That
way.
pissed me off. Oh my
We
god.
are, oh boy, we are off and running with the Monday edition of the Huddle. So much to get to today. As unshocking as the Doc Rivers news was yesterday, I was pretty shocked when I heard Chris McIntosh is no longer going to be the athletic director
We
of
haven't
Wisconsin.
gotten to
We're going to
that.
talk about that.
Goodness.
We'll get a Brewers report from Hunter Baumgardt. He's going to join us live today. We'll share some thoughts about Phil Garner's passing. It was not unexpected, but still quite sad. Tough day yesterday to get that news. We'll talk about all that and more. And it's game balls and kicks to the balls today. So get those ready. It's a Monday edition of the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. A Sunday night bombshell from Madison as Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh is leaving his post immediately to take a newly created position in the Big Ten office. McIntosh's 5-year run mixed. Success in some sports, but failures in the catalyst of college athletics. Football will define his tenure. Football program general manager Marcus Sedberry becomes the interim AD until a successor is named. What could have been McIntosh's final achievement came up just short on the ice one night before. The Badgers in the national championship game at the Frozen Four, they lose to juggernaut Denver 2-1. Moving on to golf history made at the Masters, Rory McIlroy hangs on to become just the 4th repeat champion at Augusta National. To basketball, the Bucks season comes to a merciful end. They lose to the 76ers 126-106. Doc Rivers done as Bucks head coach. And then the struggling Brewers, they get swept by the Nationals at American Family Field 8-6. The Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
We are huddled up on a Monday. Drew Olson, Bill Schmidt, Armen Sarian, and you. 877-794-1973, NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Smart and good-looking listeners on 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere in the iHeart app. Our streamers, shout out Facebook, YouTube, and X. Up early, streaming our program. We appreciate each and every one of you. So the Doc Rivers news, I knew it was coming. Figured it would be today at the latest. Bucks need a new coach. The fact that the Badgers need a new AD was a bit of a what?
That rattles them cages yesterday when I saw that message come through.
So that one comes through. Chris McIntosh goes, now, I was thinking about this in the aftermath as it shook out.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little text thread going with the boys. Armen back in it. Armen loves being back in the mix.
I do, guys.
I thought today we would spend all day thinking about like where Armen found the cheapest shrimp cocktail and hot dog.
Oh, he's got that stuff ready. He just realized there was
all here for it. But then we have all this breaking news. We found out Max leaving right after the men's hockey team goes to the Frozen Four, loses the championship game. Women won a title.
Mm-hmm.
Women's basketball resurgent. Women's volleyball solid.
Really
men's
cooking.
basketball pretty consistent.
Always,
Football's a disaster, and they're trying to get out of it. They just had a huge win with the legislature and Governor Evers signing a bill to give them some more cash to help them try to keep up with the Joneses. But him leaving and going to the Big Ten Network is interesting on a number of levels. But I was thinking about this, and it's like, I think Armen might have mentioned it. So I was mentioning it with some other buddies. Being an AD might be one of the worst jobs in sports. It was at one time. It was like one of the best jobs.
It used to be a cushy retirement job.
All you're doing is shaking people down for cash and taking the strays and catching the strays of a system that is completely run amok. So it's like, that talk about a temp job. You can go from first to worst to first. Like the pressure has never been, quick turnarounds. The pressure has never been more intense. That you can buy players. That you can look at what what we just saw in the NCAA.
What Indiana did,
look what Michigan did. Look at Dusty May.
Yep.
Like what did they win? 8 games, and 2 years later they're cutting down the net and hanging a banner. So that is now a rough job. And Mac seemed like he had weathered a bunch of storms, and here he is leaving. And then I couldn't help but you got to pull back and say, bigger picture. Chancellor, university president, and AD all out in a span of a couple months.
Yeah, all within 4 months.
What are we looking at? Like, are they all getting out ahead of something? It makes you, the reporter in you goes, okay, how are these tied together? These departures. What is going on?
The part of pulling back and looking at 3 of the most significant people departing the system, and the biggest university in the system, makes you really, really question what the conversation is and if there could potentially be more to it. But to the AD role, I struggle to say that it's fully not the job that he anticipated taking, because I think in the timing of it, when he gets selected, this was all forecasted. This was all down the pike. It might have changed significantly year in, month by month that he's been in the role. But this was part of the reason why Barry Alvarez got out, why there were a lot of guys that were done with it. Not only the fact that Barry was done being the athletic director and wanted to give it to somebody that he felt like he was in really, really good hands. I think we all did at the time. And there's parts of the athletic department that you mentioned, Drew, that are in really, really good standing. I mean, women's basketball might have the most successful year they've had in a decade.
That must have,
no doubt.
That could have been. I mean, all respect to men's hockey, that could have been his best hire. I mean,
that's a program that has underachieved for years.
Right.
It's always been flabbergasting because volleyball is so strong there, and there's a good pipeline of talent in the state. Like, why is it so bad? It's been horrible for years.
It's been horrible for years,
Never made sense,
also now there was some, there was some issues with the previous coach. Right, moved on from that one. You mentioned Mike Hastings. He's in the Frozen Four a couple of years after getting hired, and the one that leads all of it is the one that he was supposed to have the most vested interest and understanding of, which was football. And when the football will suffer, the rest of the university marketing wise, a lot of times does. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would love to know what the application numbers and what the spike was for IU after they go and win the national title, or with University of Michigan. There's always going to be a lot of people, but same deal. People want to be about winning. People want to be around that. People like seeing that. People don't necessarily love to see 4-8 on the Big Ten Plus every couple of weeks. So
it's the best marketing arm for a university.
It really is, and there's a reason why it gets the most money, and now it's potentially being funded with some more dollars that come from taxpayers. But I think knowing what the job is and all of the change around, it might have been one of those where Chris McIntosh kind of knew he would be on some unlevel footing with the success and the lack thereof of the Fickle hire, that could be getting out in front of it. You're also going to have no new friends. You don't want to necessarily have new friends in that position, because they want to hire their friends. They want to hire their people. And you being the holdover is generally a tough spot to be in.
Friend of mine put something into the social media universe. He has a candidate in mind, Mark Murphy.
Wow, there you just a name I didn't
the
think
custodian,
of.
Mark Murphy for AD of the Badgers.
Listen,
I don't think he wants to grind that much and shake trees and try to.
I was going to say,
that's the reality
what I'm
of the
saying.
job
It's not
now.
a good job anymore. How about you?
If it was the AD job he used to have at Northwestern, no question he'd be interested.
300. It's basically a 365 day a year job to shake down money trees, to feed the never-ending beast of getting NIL money. It won't ever stop. It's not a fun job.
You need an administrator type, but then you also need the front man, and it's hard to find. So you almost in some ways you have to look at this as a two-person hire. Like throw JJ Watt in there as the guy, and then have somebody do the actual business stuff, and let JJ show up at the outings and let him be the gladiator.
Programs have been doing that now.
Or Joe Thomas or something. Like
the Andrew Lucks of the world did that. How many times have I joked to you, Billy? The Marquette needs Dwayne Wade to be that guy. And in some ways, unofficially, but officially, you need that kind of figurehead to bring in the donors, and then the rest, the scheduling and all the actual work to be done by an AD. I don't know. It just seems like that's the way it is now. And if it's a job where, like you said, maybe get out ahead of the posse, or if it's not that enjoyable anyway, it's like, I'm going to just, it reminds me of a referee wanting to go to a network and saying, you know what, I don't want to actually referee anymore. I'm just going to be this consultant on a network, make it easy, no more pressure of the job, go
make
on
way
TV,
more money,
more money, go on TV every now and then and say, I think it was a good call. We'll see what they say. So. It just seems like that type of thing now, where it was like, yeah, the hires, when you look at them, were not that bad when you talk about women's basketball and men's hockey, except for, of course, the biggest one, the most important one, which is football. And this will always be the case. And it'll always be the case, no matter how good the other programs are. Football's got to succeed.
So our pal Mike Lucas weighed in.
Oh, I saw that one.
Nothing like running away from the challenge of getting the UW football program back on track. Wasn't it the goal? He didn't have Paul Chris back. He didn't have Jim Leonard's back. And you can't say that he's had Luke Fickell's back. Not with such a consequential season ahead.
Well, I wonder how he felt about Coach. Or about Mr. McIntosh.
Well, it's a little bit like Cam Thomas taking shots at Doc Rivers, but still,
Well, in the lack of funding to start with, what was a part of it. Now, I do believe that they're getting close to being able to keep up with some of the Joneses and getting back into the graces where you're supposed to be. But again, when your football team had the lack of success that it did over the last 2 years, a lot of those money trees that Armen you mentioned can be really, really difficult to shake down. They can be hard to have conversations with. I think that there's more to the role that he's taking with the Big Ten, where it's the other part of it. Like, I don't necessarily know how much of, as much as I do love playing conspiracy guy, I love putting the tinfoil hat on and knowing everything that could be around the corner, just around the river bend. What are we going to actually see here at the UW? There's a big part of me of how the conversation starts. This might be a better job that he's going to go take, right? He's going to be working directly under Tony Petitti. He's going to be telling everybody else how they should be doing their. It's kind of a consultant. Right. That's kind of, and I've often dreamed of the days that I can be a consultant. Where instantly, where you get paid to tell somebody what they're doing wrong, and if they don't do it,
that's their fault, not yours. No consequences.
I'm still getting paid.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Billy.
His former boss and mentor, I am the search committee, Barry Alvarez. Did Barry help him land this gig with the Big Ten Network?
I bet it doesn't help.
Because now you're in a situation like the Bucks will have a coach sooner than later. When will Wisconsin have an AD? Because they need a chancellor and a president, and those are kind of, in terms of academics, a little bit more important. And they're the people who would hire the AD.
Well, and then they need a UW system president, and that person probably has to get hired before all of them do, right?
Yeah, let's start there. I would think, right?
I mean, like, and I know that we've gotten some little bits of it, but there's more better reporting on it than I know of exactly why he was forced to resign and then or asked to resign and then fired. So like there's a lot there. There's a lot to still be excited about because Colton Joseph's throwing the football. All right. So I am still, once the games start getting played in August, going to be so fired up. And we got the boys on the field already coming up 8:45 today for more spring ball. Nick Bruzewitz was doing a snowy practice report the other day.
How about that? Come on,
sweet
Nick.
3 minute, and I think it was 48-second video that we got from Nick.
The
tiny mic energy from Nick Bruzewitz.
Yeah.
So the games are going to continue to roll on. And if you thought it was an important year for Luke Fickell, the temperature on that seat did just turn up even more. I don't know how much hotter it could have been, but it is warm again, and it continues to when there's going to be a lot of new sheriffs in town.
Guys, let me see if I have these numbers right. This is how important football is. We already know that, right? 90% of the athletic department is funded by it. In 24-25, football made the university $72.1 million. Men's basketball, $7.4 million. So a tenth of it, but still very successful. All other sports combined, men and women lost $75 million. So there's just an indication of how important it is for the UW to have football be successful. It goes without saying, obviously, but with all these things we're talking about, chancellor, university president, obviously the AD, a lot of people just wondering, are any of these things going to help us go 8-4 next year? Which is, I think, kind of like maybe the best case scenario. So it's a lot to sift through right now for the University of Wisconsin, for Badger fans. In the midst of, you almost had the AD take a farewell on a national championship for hockey that is still a very, very important sport at the UW. As we know, they were a hair away from doing it. So it's such a unique position to be in, a unique mix. And what success and failure is kind of hard to define a lot of times. But I know a lot of my friends that are Badger fans were welcoming this news.
Yeah.
So I tapped my Badger alum buddies for some reaction. They were all pretty excited. So who knows what to expect.
I was going to say, you can put the T down over there.
Yeah.
When we come back, the other big story of the Brewers and their rough weekend, stumbling around now with a Yelich injury thrown into the mix.
Hobbling around.
We'll have Hunter Baumgart's report when we come back, and then we'll fire up the game balls and kicks to the balls machine. Remember, 877-794-1973. Your ticket to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line on a game balls and kicks to the balls Monday here in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. The Monday edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, continues. Drew Olson, Bill Schmidt, Armen Sarian, back from Vegas, back in the chair.
He's hot and cold.
We will be doing game balls and kicks to the balls in about 13 minutes.
I got some holstered up
But
here.
There's a lot of good ones today.
We will.
A lot of kicks, unfortunately.
I'm sure we will be giving game balls to David Gasper and Hunter Baumgardt for holding down the fort while Armen was gone.
Fantastic.
It takes
work.
a village. Billy and I need adult supervision at all times.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know Dave did, Hunter, and in the past, and sometimes it's been Luddy. So
Yeah.
appreciate everybody helping out.
Indeed.
As
And
I
also,
pack in some off
I
days.
think there needs to be an early game ball to the HR department here at iHeartMedia for being able to flood our MVP, Armen Sarian, with some incredible amount of vacation.
Well,
We get some more in here. Let's do some more. That's what I'm talking
it's been
about.
a
I'm
while.
proud of them. That's great work by them.
Well,
It's about time they've realized your superstar MVP efforts.
Listen, I don't want to be one. Billy always likes to joke about. It's a radio tradition where guys like to talk about the vacation they're going to take and whatever. So I've tried not to do much. Bring that up because no one wants to hear about it. But however, we all are entitled to a certain amount of off days, and I haven't taken them for a while. So
and you've earned them.
I've sort of. It just so happens they've all been packed in this month, and Drew mentioned a couple more at the end of the week because
a couple more at the end of the week.
Yeah, because yes.
Thursday, Friday. He's got family
I
stuff.
thought it was just Friday. Okay,
No,
okay, all right.
It's a confluence.
I got you.
Well, this one, it's I guess you'd say a staycation, but a confluence of events at home have caused me to have to stay home and care for my young daughter.
We're all good. Yeah.
Care for my young
Yeah,
daughter.
daddy
So
duty.
Yeah, that's
so
a
no
good reason
problem.
to take off. You're fine.
I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong for that
Hey.
part to get to spend some time, but.
Yeah. I know you're past this already, both of you guys, but just a word to the wise, anybody who has kids or has kids on the horizon, never refer to taking care of your own child as babysitting.
No, I never do that.
You got caught. I got caught doing that. A couple of
someone told me
that'll
early
bring
on-
the hell hath no fury.
No, it's daddy
Like
duty.
Mama
sorry,
bear.
am I supposed to pay you too?
Yeah. You're not babysitting. You are what you're
How
doing.
much do you charge an hour for the
It's a good
babysitting?
one. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Don't
that is a
ever
good one.
refer to you being babysitting your own child.
I did learn that lesson early on. You never refer
That's
to
a
that.
get-to thing.
Now, Billy, I would like to think I did a little work on my trip, but I know I could have done more. But I did a little work on my trip.
That's true.
I did the
wasn't.
video report, right? And
All of a sudden, I start seeing some pictures, Drew, outside of T-Mobile Arena, and I'm like, oh my God, Armen's getting us some sound for the Frozen Four. He's going to the games. He's putting a shirt on and going to the game.
I have my Hawaiian shirt on. I came right from the pool.
Lo and behold.
And instead, no, just some digital assets. But we'll take all of them. We'll take all of them.
You know who works hard for us and never takes a vacation? Our buddy Hunter Baumgardt.
Indeed,
Hunter
he
Baumgardt
does.
has a Brewers recap for us from a disappointing end to a disappointing weekend. Let's take it away, Hunter.
Thanks, guys. It was not a great weekend at the ballpark for the Milwaukee Brewers. They get swept by the Washington Nationals. They've now lost 5 in a row for the first time since June of 2023. And to make matters worse, Christian Yelich left with left hamstring tightness on Sunday afternoon. Left after just 2 at-bats. Brewers manager Pat Murphy provided an update.
We're most likely going to get some bad news on Yelich. Yeah, I felt a little twinge in his hamstring, and we're getting it imaged right now. There is some fluid in there, so, let's wait and see. He wanted to stay in the game, but just like everything else, we just got to be careful of these guys. This in April. We're in April. What's the date? April 12th? Yeah. April 12th. We got a lot of injuries.
So it's wait and see on Yelly. Meanwhile, Brewers trying to bounce back tomorrow night against the Blue Jays. Bryce Durang, who had a 2-homer game on Sunday afternoon, says he still trusts the guys in the room.
We'll respond. We'll figure it out. We got a really good team. when we play our game are hard to beat. So we know that, and it's just understanding each individual guy to trust each other and trust themselves.
Brewers now 8-7 on the year. Try to bounce back tomorrow night. Toronto in town. Jacob Mizorowski on the mound for the Crew. Kevin Gossman on the mound for Toronto. 6:40 first pitch. This report brought to you by Import Minded, your trusted choice for exceptional vehicle care on South 27, just north of 894. Talk to you guys at 7:25 this morning.
Thank you, Hunter.
There we go, Hunter.
Outstanding.
He was not wrong. It was not a great weekend at the ballpark. Not only from the but it might have been in the merchandise stands. Might have been for the Wisco jerseys. You got swept 3 games by the Nationals, a team that last year, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they came back and won all 3 of those games at home. They were a part maybe of the 14-game winning streak. They had some great moments against the Nats at American Family Field last year, and it does feel like quickly, Drew, baseball will slap you in the face, and all of a sudden, what was the super special no 4-game losing streaks?
Yeah,
a couple of years ago. Well, now you got a 5-gamer.
5-gamer.
But hey, you're 8-7, and you were 8-7 a year ago, and you won 97 games.
We're 8-7 with a 5-game lose.
No, I was going to say,
plenty of opportunity.
That's a compliment. Honestly, the way you started, like, okay, well, you sustained a 5-game losing streak to stay 8-7, and the fact that you haven't had a losing streak like that in a couple of years, that's an amazing feat in and of itself. So, at the risk of sounding way too positive, I think there's a lot to celebrate in that regard when you start to think about it. Also, we always joke about Bryce Terang being, way too even keel, never up, never down. Now this is the time you want a guy that's never down right there. This is the time you want a Bryce Terang, not just because what he's doing at the plate, obviously.
And you have to factor in the Brewers were already up against it without Vaughn and Churio. And now with Yelich probably headed for the IL, 3 of your top 5 hitters in the lineup are out. Good luck. We forget about that. Next man up. And baseball is such a day-to-day grind. They play every day that you don't, you forget. You memory hole those injuries. Like,
when Jackson.
By the way, they're going to get Quinn Priester back at some point. Like, he was one of their best starters last year.
That'll be nice.
Okay.
Well. Yeah, when our guy Paul Wagner is sitting in between Andrew Vaughn and Jackson Churio on a Sunday afternoon signing autographs
with a long line.
My wife didn't want to go in that line. She wanted to go into the Jackson Churio line and wait for nothing. I'm like, let's go Wags. Come on, right there. Perfect.
I can't understand why.
Instead, when those guys are signing autographs on a Sunday and not hitting first and third in the lineup, it's going to be a tough one. I hear bad news. They say don't speculate on injuries. Well, Sports Talk Radio speculates on everything. That sounds like 4 to 6 at least, right? Weeks. Yeah. And that's a long hill to toe if you're not going to get those guys back soon.
Yep. Firing up the game balls and kicks of the balls machine. Get them to us. You're hanging out in the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. Well, this came out of left field. Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh is leaving his post effective immediately to take a senior strategy position at the Big Ten Conference. McIntosh confirming the report with the Sports Business Journal. Moving on to golf, it was Sunday at the Masters and the crowning achievement of one of the all-time greats, Rory McIlroy, becoming just the fourth back-to-back winner in Masters history. He finishes at -12, one shot better than Scotty Scheffler. To basketball, the Bucks' off-season of change can begin now that their season has come to an end, fittingly with another blowout loss. They get blasted by the 76ers 126-106. Now come the changes, which start with Doc Rivers. He's leaving as coach, but may stay with the organization on some level. And finally, to baseball, the Brewers' struggles continue. They lose to the Nationals 8-6. Washington completing the weekend sweep. The crew off today. They'll welcome in the Blue Jays for 3 starting tomorrow night. Hour 2 of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Bill for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to do. Let's go out and kick the tail. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Get our guys after you and make the play. Be right all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C-puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armen
This
Sarian.
is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Dominating a Monday in the good land. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere in the iHeart app, streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Drew Olson, Bill Schmid, and Armen Sarian back from the desert, his favorite home away from home.
Indeed.
Did you think about relocating there at all?
No. Because that would take the excitement. You know, some people that think about, they get back from vacation, they're like, man, I got to move out here. It's just not reality. It's fantasy.
No state income tax.
You do that,
That's
and then
the nice part.
it ceases to become a special trip,
Well, it's still paradise. It's always still going to be paradise in Nevada.
No.
And
Homeless.
you were there twice in a week. Did you get any good pool time?
Got great pool time. That was probably the best part, I'd say, because it was warmer and hotter than normal for this time of year.
Yeah.
And because of that, caught some nice pool time, nice sun. It felt more tropical than I think it normally would. So I was happy about
Where'd you
that.
stay?
New York.
Oh,
which is nice
okay.
because it was right by the right by T-Mobile, and it was all hockey fans.
How are the rooms? I've never stayed there. I've always wanted to.
They're good. They're updated. They're a little
okay.
small, but they're updated. And you're in those you're in those New York towers.
Did
So
it feel
they're very
strange
interesting.
being in updated rooms and not in the Luxor ones that haven't been touched since
A
the
little
90s
bit.
when they built it?
A little bit. There was a bit of uniqueness there. I will admit that, but they're not bad. They're not bad.
Did you
It's pretty
fire
good.
up a pastrami sandwich at all?
I did. I went to
call, yes.
I went to Greenberg's Deli.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple nice breakfast deals there. So I had the pastrami and cheese for breakfast one morning, or pastrami and egg, or whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know me, I
So,
like to avail
yeah,
myself.
not bad.
You do like to avail yourself of the sights and the sounds, and most
I do.
importantly, not necessarily just the touristy spots. Because Armen was going to Secret Pizza before it was not so Secret Pizza.
Yeah.
I
right?
was, although
Like,
I am
he
a
was-
tourist at heart,
But you want to see the spots, but
Yeah.
you don't just want to see, the travel.com 10 places you got to go in Vegas.
Sure.
You want to see 10 places to go in Vegas where I'm going to get a good deal.
That's
so
right.
we set the over under on 12 spots that you went to through your trip there
Yep.
in search of said Las Vegas deal
Yeah.
that you heard of prior to the trip.
Right.
Would it be an over and under on a hit?
10 is a lot, right? Because they're dwindling. They're dwindling on the strip, unfortunately. But however,
Not because he wasn't trying.
No, right. And I've already I've already milked that cow as much as I could have exhausted, but there were a few new ones. There was the Guy Fieri $19.99 all you can eat breakfast at Horseshoe.
Shut your mouth.
Now that one is plated. Now you can spend an extra $5 for some nicer menu items. I didn't do that.
$20 for all you can eat breakfast?
It's a pretty good deal. It's a strategy, though. They take a long time to bring out your next plate.
That's why, like, when you would do all you can eat wings, you order the next round when the one comes out.
Right now, we can only order 2 plates at a time per person, Laura and I. So that was kind of the deal there. But that's one where you know, it's all you can eat with on the menu items. So it's not like a buffet. So I like that one a lot. That was a lot of fun, although it took a long time waiting from I know it doesn't take that long to make the bacon.
But you got to fill them up a little bit.
So that one was pretty good. Got a buffet deal. You know, buffets during the week and during brunch are a little less expensive. So I got the buy one, get the second half off.
There we go.
At the Bellagio buffet. It's taken a little hits recently, the Bellagio buffet reputation wise. So that's how you make the move right there. So that was pretty good. And of course, I got a Casino Royale foot-long hot dog. Always.
So he didn't answer the question, Drew. It kind of almost sounds like it might have been over.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends how you
don't
look
know.
at it.
I mean, because that was only the food. We're talking about what the excitement, the drink deal. Come on, we figured some stuff out.
I like to get
shopping.
Get my drinks at Walgreens or CVS. I don't like to buy them at the pool or the casino if I can help it. You know. I like to hang around.
And you're right by one of them stores at the New York.
You're right there by the ABC store. Yeah. I like to hang around the table. Maybe not gamble up, but hang around when the free drinks are coming around. Just railbird it a little bit. Let me jump in there and let me get my,
act like you got a couple of chips on the craps table.
That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it right there.
Roulette.
Yeah, it's a strategy, It's a strategy. You try and do it as much as you can.
Love it.
And and fade the Brewers. I mean, those
877-794-1973 gets you to the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Order business on Monday. Game balls and kicks of the balls. You know how it works. If someone deserves a game ball and attaboy a kudo, it doesn't have to be sports related. That's where we jump off from, but it could be anything. Today, a game ball on the Huddle sounds like this.
What a game!
There you go.
That was Aaron Sims after the Admirals clinched
playoff berth. They get our first game ball today because that's Aaron Sims, the voice of the Admirals.
2 great games this
weekend.
weekend.
Best in the business. Good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was down at the arena. 2 great wins this weekend, and they did clinch the playoff berth yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
Huge.
Now looking just for some home games there, trying to improve their seating. But it was a great day yesterday. It was Roscoe's birthday, and it was kids' takeover day. So we had the junior announcers, Billy. So that's always a fun day.
Oh, that's
now
good.
Conversely. If you want to give someone a kick to the huevos, they need to do better. They need a performance improvement plan. A kick to the balls today sounds like this.
Felt a little twinge.
That was Murph talking about of all the kicks in the balls this weekend. Felt a little twinge was that as soon as you hear that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Brewers are losers of 5 in a row. Game balls, kicks to balls. Floor is open 877-794-1973. I'll take the lowest lying fruit there is and give a game ball to Rory McIlroy.
What a game!
Winning back-to-back Masters, 4th guy ever to win back-to-back Masters after going, 15 years without one?
Yeah,
it's 2 in 2 years.
And being the epitome of the choke artist on the back, pardon me, the second 9. The second 9.
Wow.
The second
Not the
9.
back 9. The second
9.
Where you've seen him struggle to be able to close it out. And he was almost going to say, hold my beer all the other years that I couldn't get home. Having the largest, 6th largest lead after 36 holes with a 6-stroke lead after Friday. Almost blowing it. And Drew, that also leads into me a brutal kicks of the balls.
Felt a little twinge.
To one Justin Rose.
Oh, Rosie.
While Rory McIlroy has now conquered and is going to have to figure out how he's going to do it for a second time, come up with the champions dinner. Do you adjust the menu? Everyone always asks you what your meal would be. They never ask you what it would be for your second championship.
That's a great question.
So I'm interested to know if he spices up the menu for next year.
He'll have something totally different.
Justin Rose has twice had a 72-hole lead. Nobody's shot lower than him after 72 holes, lost in 2 different playoffs at Augusta. And yesterday was like, all right, I think I finally cracked the code. I'm going to have my big round on Sunday instead of on Thursday. Maybe I finish better than I start, and then I'll do it. And again, he finds himself at one point with the lead on Sunday and can't get home. That is that's a course that's going to live rent free in that dude's head for his entire life.
Yeah, that's brutal. Absolutely.
That is not great. Rory, he was like on the brink of getting divorced and pulled his marriage out of the ditch. Apparently,
that's a good
now
call.
they're back
Yes,
together, I guess. But
did they go to the place in Sedona?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
Is that
I don't know. Maybe a $2,100 a night bungalow. A lot of things can happen.
That's
Yeah,
like a famous place or something like that. And wouldn't it be a kick to the balls also for all? I mean, there's a lot of Rory haters out there. Okay, a lot of people don't like Rory. I get it. Now, I'm not going to say I'm strong one side or the other, but I always liked him. I guess I thought he was good. And all the kicking the balls, all the haters that keep calling him a choke artist. I'm sorry, it's just 2 in a row now. The Masters, it's getting harder and harder to call him a choke
that
artist.
script. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But he was trying to live up to it yesterday.
That's the thing about it. I will admit that he was in the midst of winning the biggest tournament in the world. He was in the midst of doing it, still trying to be that guy. Now, look, that's the nature of competition and athletics, whatever. You can't be perfect all the time. You're going to have ups and downs. So those are part of the downs. But it did seem like he was trying to live up to that, Billy, in that sense. But he overcame it and won.
Yes. Lay them on us. 877-794-1973. Your game balls and kicks the balls. Game ball. AJ Green.
There you go, AJ Green. What a game.
Quite a weekend for him. He hit the threes necessary to overtake Ray Allen. Jesus Shuttleworth no longer at the top of the Milwaukee Bucks single season 3-point shooting record. Derry Bird. My thing was they should have got him more attempts.
I was going to say it should have happened earlier than the second to last game of the year.
Why didn't he shoot more?
There were
especially in the dying days of the season. Now he had a roller coaster season. He was hot and cold.
Yeah, I was going to say. But there were times, Drew, where it felt like he wasn't getting more than three attempts in a game.
Yeah.
And there's a time when
10.
The joke of Derry Bird. Now, if Larry Bird was shooting as many threes as he should be and was able to in this generation, people don't even want to know how much Larry would have scored. But for AJ Green, it's a hell of a moment. He gets the deal, second day of the season, gets that 4-year, $48 million deal. And when you start looking at the pieces going forward that you actually do want to keep, you'd like to. However, he might actually be somewhat of an asset that would get you something. So if you're going to restart from absolute ground zero, that might be one of his last acts as a Milwaukee Buck for AJ Green. How about along the Milwaukee Bucks? Let me give a kick to the balls.
Felt a little twinge.
This is going to be a tough one.
To
Giannis. Now, this season has been an absolute kick in the balls, to Giannis,
season,
right?
The whole season. Yeah.
The worst kind of year that you possibly could have. But in his Hall of Fame, top 25 player of all time career that he's put forth, it's a low in points scored since before he won his first MVP, 27-28. 36 games played, the fewest he ever played in the NBA. His assist totals, the fewest that he's averaged since before his first MVP. So while as much as obviously the injuries wear on you and the volume of being out there is 1 minute restriction can do some of that to you as well. You only played 28 or less than 29 minutes. That's the fewest he's played since his first year in the NBA, Drew. Like there's years where your basketball mortality will slap you in the face outside of everything else that's going on with Giannis.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But just from a basketball player in your prime standpoint, man, that is a kick square in between the legs to think of my age 31 year. You're hoping that you're having one of your best seasons, continuing to stack onto the legacy. And instead, whoever and wherever Giannis is playing in 26-27, I still am not against it being with the Milwaukee Bucks. You're going to get a ridiculously motivated guy. Not like you aren't every single year, but when guys say that I still have a lot to prove, he very much has a lot to prove after the year that he had this year, because statistically his lowest since he was 23 years old.
And if you remember way back, this feels like forever ago, but the first few weeks of the Bucs season when they were playing really well, he was really cooking. I mean, he had some nasty numbers to start the year. So the fact that it went downhill from there is definitely kicking the balls. And you said, Billy, he'd be motivated. You would think, hopefully it's with you, but if it's not, it's also a bad time. If you want to trade him, it's a bad time for him to have those lows, right? Because in theory, teams could look at with a side eye and say, hey, what's his value? What's going on here? Is he on the back end? And try and negotiate against you that way. So it might be some difficult days forward before it gets better in that regard.
877-794-1973. Game ball. Let's award.
What a game.
Game ball to everyone who ran and finished and had fun in the Milwaukee Marathon yesterday.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Always an impressive
Right by
personal
my
accomplishment
domicile. I was able to watch the runners rolling by my place. And
did you cheer them on from the patio?
You're all winners.
Yeah,
that's what I said. You're all winners.
You're all
a couple
winners.
people wave.
That's
People wave to me and the dog. But kick to the balls. It was the Milwaukee Journal Milwaukee Marathon.
Felt
And
a little twinge.
apparently, the lack of copy editing at the paper, and the
Saw
cuts on the medals, 4,000 medals for participants and finishers. They misspelled the word marathon.
Ouch.
It said
Felt a
marathon.
little twinge.
Marathon.
How do you miss that?
They were missing the second A. They missed a marathon.
It reminds me of when
Marathon.
I got my birthday cake when I was 27 with my cousins. We were in California, and the bakery spelled birthday wrong. Now, I get spelling Armen wrong, maybe, or my name. How do you spell birthday wrong? You must make thousands on thousands of birthday cakes a year. You make that wrong. Now, how are you going to get marathon wrong on the medals? That is a kick to the balls right there. But, hey, listen, it is an impressive accomplishment. Whenever I see people finish those races, I'm like,
and it was
good on you.
What was impressive was their response that, well, it's like that error is, it was unfortunate. It's a typo. It was a production error. But it made these things like a collector's item.
Yeah, it makes it unique.
I love that line. I love that.
It's not unique when every medal was misspelled.
Yeah.
If there were a couple of them, then it would be unique. When everyone is misspelled, it's just a colossal embarrassment.
As a guy that tries to look for the positive always, the silver lining, I really appreciate that stretch, man. That is awesome. Look, these might be valuable one day, as a misprint. Think about it that way.
Shout out, and how about a game ball to the guy that was making them?
What a game.
Because he was sitting there and read you got to read it, right? Like, I guess I've never made medals before, but I do believe when you're putting together the print, or maybe it's all AI now, you do have to look at it. And he's sitting there, hey, Rick, back and look at this. They spelled marathon wrong. You think I should fix it for him?
That's what they ordered.
That's what they ordered. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The answer is the moops.
They got to pay for the extra letter. I don't know that they want to pony that up.
877.
My dad's an expert in numismatist, so I'll ask him how they strike these medals at some
There you
point.
go.
Yeah.
877-794-1973. Your game balls and kicks to the balls. Fertile territory. Game ball. And this one will be painful too.
What a game.
The Washington Nationals.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
They played a really good series. They were relentless. They came at you. They were undaunted. All the things that we liked about the Brewers, they put on display this weekend, bunting them to death. Death by paper cut against Trevor McGill set the tone on Friday night in a game the Brewers probably thought they should have won.
Yeah.
Saturday night, they just didn't hit. And then Sunday, they hit and the bullpen caved. So it was a complete and colossal breakdown by the Brewers.
Yeah, and Drew, you mentioned it. I mean, like, they were just relentless on Friday night. That's a game that a lot of teams probably don't necessarily just give away or fold into, but that can be a very easy game to lose when you're down 3-2 and the closer on the other side's coming in. And the way the Brewers series went against the Nationals a year ago could start to creep into the mind, because that's a young team. And I was listening to the Nationals broadcast on the highlights the next day, and they said something very similar in the way of saying, like, this series last year was the epitome of the problems for Washington. Be able to score, never be able to finish out games. And they finished this weekend and they played all 9. And yesterday, I thought the biggest kick was after the explosion in the 7th. You get it tied, and Jeff Levering hit it on the nail. Back-to-back hits, right? 3 pitches in, back-to-back hits, and Jeff on the radio goes, all that momentum gone.
Felt a little twinge.
Yeah, you could feel a twinge in even though at the point, game's still tied. It's still 6-6, men on first and third, nobody out. It felt like you were already down 2 runs there, and ultimately you get the sticks back down to 8-6.
Yeah, and at the risk of really sounding, I mean, obviously it's just April, but I'm thinking like Gary Sanchez saved the season. What a home run and all that. And then right away, as I'm tweeting that, like, what we do without Gary, the Brewers give up the lead. So it was a tough one. But I would like to say this. I mean, you remember last year, April, when Oliver Dunn and Elvin Rodriguez and those guys were playing, and we said, boy, this team just might not be this good this year and this and that. It was early. We were saying the same thing last year. So just wait. It's going to be a long season. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. It's going to be a journey. And we don't have our full complement of players yet. The Brewers don't have their team yet. So we'll see what happens down the road. But they've got to get a win here at some point, get off the schneid. And now they see Toronto, so it's not going to be
and another
easy.
day off.
Yeah.
Day off today, whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure.
Well, it means that we're probably going to have to wait till later tomorrow to be able to get any news on Yelich. They'll probably hold that until
It'll be 3:00 tomorrow.
Availability tomorrow. Gave all to Jake Bowers.
What a game!
Because my man, I'm telling you, he's got an incredible knack for whenever people start doubting if this guy should be in the majors. You have to find somebody else. 2 bombs over the weekend.
Wow.
And that one on Friday night was an absolute missile that he ends up hitting.
Scorched it. No doubt. That's a good
and
one.
of course, a game ball to Bryce.
What a game!
Bryce Terang
And
looking like a superstar here.
Where are all my my superstitious people? Where are all my jinxes, like the Wisco uniforms? Burn them. They're 0-3.
I'll tell you this.
Well, we haven't even started on that yet. Now that could be a game where
Drew, I'm not against it because the great Coach Tom Tarasca, rest in peace, Coach. There was an old store there at Arrowhead where they had these beautiful baby blue jerseys that got donated. Sweet looking Adidas, almost like one of those where the Adidas is trying to test out. Hey, why don't we put this on one of our favorite teams?
Yeah,
one of our great outfitters and go play. Lost the non-conference. Them things were banished so far into the basement to only be used as like freshman practice jerseys forever again.
That's a bummer.
So I don't know if that's how the Wisco jerseys go, but they got like 7 more chances to turn it around. Otherwise, we might have to throw them things.
The supper club
straight
food
into
can
the
stay.
basement.
The Wisco jerseys can go.
It sure does seem ironic and fitting for those that were calling them like the Antichrist, basically. Like they were so intensely angry at this jersey. And I want to just say it is kind of ironic, but can I just do a kick in the balls? I didn't have a chance to.
Felt a little twinge.
Not for the jerseys, did I like them, did I not? But for the conversation, the rhetoric, and the discourse. I'm going to say a kick in the balls to the discourse and the arguments around these jerseys. You guys got to relax a bit.
Do you like them?
I don't like them, but I'm putting the blame where it lies on Fanatics and Nike. I'm not putting the blame on the Brewers. The problem with this discourse is we were fighting each other instead of fighting who we should have been fighting, and that's Fanatics. All right? For making us come up with all these crazy alternate
People
jerseys.
trying to tell me young people say Wisco. I still don't think it's a thing.
I don't either, and I don't like them either, but I'm not also going to, fight with my brothers and sisters about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We're fighting amongst each other, and we shouldn't be.
Game balls and kicks to the balls we're fully underway. Hey, shout out to our friends at Game Day Men's Health. Check out GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Find a clinic near you. Learn about all the services they offer. Go sign up for that free no obligation consult. Peptides are the thing. That is the hottest thing right now in fitness and medicine and just life. Peptides for weight loss, for weight, for muscle gain, bulking.
Stack it up.
Stacking. Check out their peptide therapies, which they specialize in, and it's none of that stuff is artificial. It's all real, medically monitored, and you'll be doing it the safe way rather than just buying it off of some TikTok site. So check out GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Dolphins coming in next for a little halftime report. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Halftime of the Monday edition of the Huddle. We welcome our halftime correspondent, Scott Dolphin, from the country station down the hall, also known as FM 106.1. Hello, Dolph.
Hi, fellas. How was your weekend?
It was good. Now we have so much news to deal with. We need a Bucks coach, a Wisconsin athletic director.
Yeah. How about that?
Someone to break Rory's streak at Augusta.
For the second week in a row, a former Brewers manager has died.
Yeah, that one was a bummer. We'll talk more about Gar later. Henry Mason also.
Yes.
A former Badgers wide receivers coach, highly respected and loved.
Loved figure
at a previous radio stop, I did a weekly hit during football season with Henry Mason.
Oh,
and he was fantastic. Yeah, just one of the great, nice people. He and Gar, both of the nicest people in sports. Did you ever have any runs with Phil?
I did. For years, we did at FM 106, we did the Child Abuse Prevention Fund. It was our big fundraiser, the CAP Fund,
That was
every year.
Bud Seeley's big thing. It was in players' contracts. They had to go to the picnic.
It was, and that's where I got to meet Scrap Iron a couple different years when he was there in the 90s, and was always enjoyable to talk to, and just seemed like a great dude. I also remember him leaving County Stadium more than once on that Harley.
Oh, yeah.
That was his.
Our coaches in the 90s all wanted to drive Harleys.
Yeah,
it was like him and Holmgren.
His wife, Carol, got him that as a present, and our pal Tom Haudecourt helped in that endeavor because his wife worked at Harley at the time. Yeah,
nice.
it was cool.
Always good to have a friend.
Gar was. I got a lot of stories about Gar. He was truly a great dude, and played a huge role in messaging and helping build momentum to get Miller Park built.
Wow,
he was big on that because he was like, it's a little bit like the coach, and the owner, and the GM. They don't spend that much time in front of the mics, but Gar was saying how important it was for the team to be competitive and that they needed it.
Hell of a player, three-time All-Star, won a World Series with We Are Family, those 79 Pirates.
Right?
Yeah. But my lasting memory will be opening day 1997 when the geniuses in the Brewers front office decided baseballs on opening day with that drunk crowd would be a good
True
souvenir
value
to have.
baseball giveaway.
I still have mine.
Yeah, it happened. And as it happens, Armen, we have a little sound from that.
Yeah, give me a couple seconds.
Yeah.
They almost went back to it yesterday because they gave out wiffle ball bats yesterday. And I was thinking, I kind of giggled. I'm like, you know what a good tribute. If this thing would have gone sideways and somebody would have been tossing their kids.
They used to give out the
full-size
bats.
one. Well, that was
the wood bats we all used, especially the red ones from Coca-Cola.
I had that
red
one.
Coca-Cola bat. Yes.
My dad said, well, you need I want a baseball bat, Dad, for Little League. It's like, instead, let's go to this Brewer game where there's a giveaway and you can get that one.
I
That was
remember
it.
getting
Everybody
the
had
mini
'em.
one. Remember those? As a kid, you get the little mini baseball bats. Those were cool.
All right,
Here it is. Opening day. What was it? 97, 98?
97?
I think it was
97.
97, I
I
think.
think 97.
Safety of the players, the umpires, and your fellow fans. Do not throw any more baseballs on the field. Thank you very much.
That was the Sam Weish. This is, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in
don't live in
Cincinnati.
Cleveland.
It was very much like that.
My question for that back then, sorry to jump on you, was how they got the mic down and the whole situation. Because it wasn't the era of, let's just give them
But
the
they
mic.
used to have regular pregame ceremonies on the field. Dick Hackett would say, hey, it's Racine night. It's
how are you going to
Kenosha
sing the
night.
national
I guess.
anthem?
So it didn't take long for them
Didn't
to
take
get
long
a
for them to
mic.
string
All
that
right.
out.
I just remember from my seating vantage point, they were playing the Rangers, and I remember Rusty Greer was the left fielder for Texas. And he's playing his position. He's locked in on the hitter, and a ball comes out of the left field bleachers and misses the back of his head by, I bet, 2 inches, and whistles down. And then he threw his hands in the air, and then was it? I don't remember. Was it Kevin Kennedy? It was a former player was managing
Kevin
the Rangers.
Kennedy, I think. Yeah.
He said, "That's it." He pulled the team off the field. And I remember them saying the Brewers are going to have to forfeit this game.
Everybody had these baseballs, and then it started, I think, because Burnitz was warming up and threw a ball in the stands, and Burnitz was playing catch with somebody in the stands,
trying to be a friendly guy on opening day with the fans.
How dare you have fun?
Yeah, that's what happens, Billy. No good deed goes unpunished.
Amen.
Poor Jerome. My sister called him Jerome because of the
They were
Jerome Burnitz.
I once asked Jeremy why his name was spelled that way. He's like, ask my mom. She was sedated. she was sedated. She didn't know.
Oh, that's
Jerome Burnitz and Grammy Lloyd. That's what we call them.
Game. I remember Mike Matheny had hit a grand slam.
He did.
You hit a grand slam on opening day. It's a pretty big deal.
That's a pop.
And it was like a footnote because of the baseball controversy. And then Major League Baseball quickly amended to where they gave you the balls on the way out of the stadium for that, because this was of what can go wrong.
That's right up there with 10-cent beer night. Giving fans,
sounds great.
projectiles.
So
or disco demolition derby night at Sox for the White Sox.
Yeah, blowing up center field.
I remember the thing with Gar is you'd go in for his pregame, and it's a little bit like this with Murph, but with Gar, it was like it'd be 20 minutes of family stuff, news, politics. He and Mike Baumann were. Gar was a Texas Republican, but he was a moderate, I would say. He was pretty staunch in his republicanism in terms of like financial stuff, but socially he was quite open, and he was an interesting cat. He had different viewpoints, and he and Baumann would argue politics, and I'd be sitting there as the beat guy listening for like 25 minutes. Can I ask a question about the lineup and the bullpen heading into tonight?
3 things.
So funny.
And they would get after each other, and Phil would be like, Baumann, that's when you were throwing Molotov cocktails at the cops back in your Madison days, you hippie freak. And they would go at it.
But it's wonderful to be around a guy that was a character, that was a guy that would be interested in things, that didn't have tunnel vision, right? We see so much now. And that's why Murph is a lot of fun. People, we enjoyed Murph.
It is the thing with Gar, I mentioned his messaging on the stadium being key during that time, because people thought the Brewers were going to leave, and if there wasn't a lot of, they weren't good, so there wasn't momentum. Like the Packers had their stadium redone after they won a
championship, makes it a lot easier to ask.
A little bit of a heavier lift we saw with the Bucks and things. So, but with Gar, he was like, he got into business with some guys early in his career, and he was developing stuff, and he always had a great business sense because he hung out with these guys and invested with them. And the downtown Denver mall development, City Center, I think it's called, he had a huge hand in that. He was like a big investor in that. He had deals around the country, and some of his buddies were big developers, and I got to spend time with them because they were in seeing Gar.
That's awesome.
It was very cool being able to talk to those guys about business. But he would ride his Harley down around like through Pigsville and down by the water and stuff, and he'd be like, he had a vision. Like he wanted the Deer District to be around the ballpark. And he's like, the hotels, and they would use that river and take it all the way to downtown. And you have water taxis and a casino on the river and stuff. He was like a visionary.
I remember when they were talking about that happening.
That was his plan. He's like, they're not seeing this for what this could be, a jewel, and this could be absolutely. And he knew it was necessary for the lifeblood of the team.
Man, why wasn't there ever a water taxi from downtown?
Exactly.
Well, they had to get the hop.
They had all the other crap. There's a lot of like,
only if the hop came to American Family.
A lot of the
Field,
stuff in the valley. There's a lot of stuff that dig out from all those years.
I always did wonder
toxic
that.
Waste.
Every time I'd walk over the bridge and see all the guys fishing in the river by the stadium, so you can just drive the boat up here.
But it's okay. I mean, the Hank Aaron Trail runs right through there.
I know.
Right?
It's a good point, and I think we've done a lot in that sense to develop it, but it is interesting to hear he had those ideas back
I got
then.
a couple stories for later in the show that'll tell you what kind of guy Gar was, but he also had the business sense to lean into Milwaukee, Chicago.
Yep.
The White Sox stuff. In fact, Doug has something for us when he teed up the the White Sox broadcast team. They were always bean and balls, and when they played the White Sox, it was
Tony Phillips.
Tony Phillips fought a fan in the stands, and they had like many dust ups. We had the brawl with Cirillo and Guillen at third base, and suddenly the managers are going at it. Bevington and Garner are going at it. He leaned into it. As the great Ray Ratto once wrote, Phil Garner's hatred for the White Sox has to be checked because it doesn't fit in the overhead bin. That was a great line.
It didn't fit in there, but
that didn't fit in there.
You want to hear the rant?
Let's hear the rant that he went on when he basically Hardecourt and I tried to promote a fight with them. The White Sox announcers and Gar, we were going to have it at Mars Cheese Castle, split the difference, or the Brat Stop.
I was going to say Brat Stop would have been
Let's
better.
hit this, Armen.
Damn stupid idiots is what the they are. And they're trying to get that club and this club in a world of because they're idiots. Well, if they want to fight, I'm right here to fight. Don't get anybody else out there involved in it. That's the challenge. Those two damn idiots up there. That's what the I'm pissed off about. I'll fight both of the idiots right here. If they think we're drilling their guys, then get their fat asses down here and we'll take them on right now. I'll take them both of them. At the same time, I'll take both of them on. And if they ain't got the to do it, then shut the up and stay out of the game. That's the bottom line. Call the game and quit saying that other shit. That's the bottom line. I hope you got that on the tape so you can remember it.
That was
bottom line. That's where it is.
That's where it is.
That's the Texas game. I don't think I've heard that before.
Oh, yeah.
How is
like
that?
the Lee Elia rant.
I know. How is that not right up there with Hal McRae and Lee Elia?
It was Tom Paciorek and Ken Harrelson, Harrelson were saying that the Brewers were throwing at their guys and stuff. So, Yeah, that was
is
quite
so good. Oh, that's so good.
And the audio, quality was just old enough sounding.
Yeah.
Where it gives you that real good feel. Man, we got some really like inside audio that not everyone heard.
But
man.
you get the line that you definitely need. You got that?
You got that? Get it on tape.
So print it.
Just like Lee Elliott said, print it.
And then they did settle things, and they said we should keep this private, shouldn't do it in public. But they did. That
is so good.
It added juice. He knew that it was good for business to pick on Chicago.
Yeah.
And so he like,
and it really is. I mean, that was
White Sox
a big
rivalry.
thing. The Cubs weren't even a factor for Brewers fans. It was all about the White Sox. We joke about the Terry Bevington fight with Guillen and Searle. You go back and watch that. It was just Garner and him. I mean, there was not going to be a fight, but those two started fighting. I mean, it was, usually the managers are in the periphery and players start fighting first. Players were talking to each other, but
so can we get
Garner.
So 30 years later, could this get somewhat recreated, redone with Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur?
I think so.
I wonder if that's the next level of it. Although they want the same smoke.
Although neither of those guys are what Phil Garner was. He had been through the frickin' ringers as a player. They called him Scrap Iron.
You're going to tell me Matt LaFleur has never been nicknamed Scrap Iron?
No.
You don't think those eyebrows have ever gotten that nickname?
Eyebrows. Oh my goodness.
I don't think so.
And that kind of goes for Ben Johnson. Although Ben Johnson did play at Carolina, right?
He did.
He's rumored to be on the team.
Then he quit football to become an IT guy.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
Like, give me a break, okay? These guys, come on. We're talking about Phil Garner and Scrap Iron. Ben Johnson is not quite. I mean,
and Matt LaFleur was a pretty good college player at Western Michigan, wasn't he?
I think so.
Was he a receiver?
Yeah, Saginaw Valley, I think.
Saginaw Valley.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Got it.
But I mean, even though Ben Johnson did take his shirt off. And whatever. You don't get that sense from those guys, but maybe Billy, we never know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I think it'd be fun.
Now,
I think it'd be enjoyable.
If Twitter was around, would he have been a Twitter guy, Drew? Phil Garner? Would he have been a guy sparring on Twitter and social media?
Maybe. That's hard to say.
He would have been a guy on Twitter saying, come see me about it. Don't just tweet me
about
it.
Yeah. Big success with the Astros after he left here, right?
He took him to a World Series. He took over a 500 team and put the paddles to him, and
he won their first playoff series.
Really good.
Ended up losing to the White Sox, ironically.
Ironically,
they ended up losing
with Scotty Posednik.
Yeah, they got swept by but he did when he went to manage Detroit after he left Milwaukee, and they didn't have anybody. They didn't give him a team, but you give him players. And he was,
Well, and if I remember correctly, that Cardinals series the year before they go to the World Series, that was the shot where Pujols hit it past the train.
Yeah. Brad Lidge.
And all of a sudden it was like game 6 and 7. They got a lead. All they need to do is win one game to go to the World Series. And Brad Lidge, I don't know, threw strikes ever again. After that was over for him.
But that's why I think it always felt like, even though the records weren't good, except for his first year, always did feel like he overachieved with those groups, even though they weren't winning a lot, the Brewers teams in the 90s, because talent was up, talent was down. But there's a guy that Phil's first year was 92, which was one of the most, revelation of Brewers seasons, right? And he kind of carried that momentum of that 92, his first year, through his Brewers tenure, although they can never recapture that kind of magic. But the talent wasn't amazing. There were some good players, obviously, through the 90s, but it always felt like they had a chance to be good, and he kind of put the teams together, and I always felt like he overachieved, even though the teams didn't have great records. I don't know if that's accurate, what you think, Drew, but
Yeah, the other great, I got so many good Gar stories, but there was a time when Mike Fetters was the Brewers closer, and he ended up leaving, and he was with Oakland, and there's a spring training game. Brewers played the A's, and Fetters was good friends and had the same agent as our boy Jeff Cirillo, and Fetters plunked Cirillo the fastball like in the ribs, and Huddle Court and I go talk to Fett, like, hey, what'd you say? I had to let Rillo know I was here. I had to drill him. I had to do it.
That's awesome.
And we cracked up. And we went down to talk to Gar afterwards, and we were like, hey, Gar, what'd you think of Fett throwing at your third baseman? He goes, he didn't do that on purpose. He's just spring training. You're like, no, he told us he did it on purpose.
Oh, boy.
That son of a, he's not. So the next time the Brewers go to Phoenix Muni to play, the next time they meet the A's, Garner made the entire, they took 2 buses. They had like 45 guys.
Wow.
just for this game, just because he was pissed.
So he was ready for him.
And it was so funny because he was mad at this and he wanted to settle the score. And the A's guys are warming up and they see what's coming down the hill coming off the bus. Like, what's going on? Are they a football game or something? It was a split squad and nobody told us. Like, what's going on? Like, something's up. And Cal Eldred was pitching for the Brewers that day, and he was charged with hitting the first guy. And he threw the first 3 pitches, missed him by 10 feet behind him. And everybody's like, what? And nobody knew what was going on.
That's funny.
Nobody knew. Like
I know
nobody
we're
from the
working
A's
on
knew
things,
that it was
but
all
this
because
bad?
Mike Fetters admitted to us that he hit Cirillo. And then I guess
That's hilarious.
I think Eldred like walked the first guy, and then he just didn't have it in him because it was a concocted thing. Gar was just mad.
Sure.
He's like, you don't hit our guy.
It's funny.
It was hilarious.
So
We
good.
laugh about that to this day. Gar made everybody go. Like everybody, like usually the guys who aren't
the
playing,
biggest guy get off the
if
bus
you're not
first.
playing on a road game, you're at the golf course.
Yeah,
You're
I
in the
guess
pool.
Spring
He's like,
training
he made
games do
everybody
mean
go.
something, right? I
They
remember
do.
when Prince did the bowling thing.
Oh yeah, they hit him the next
Yes,
spring.
next spring training.
right?
Yeah, Barry Zito hit him with like a 75 mile an hour lollipop, and nobody, like a lot of people didn't know what was going on.
Had no clue that it was a problem.
No clue, but it was payback for the bowling team.
Sure. Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah. Oh, the Gar memories. It's so sad. He'd been battling pancreatic cancer for 2 years and it wasn't good. He put up a fight. About a year ago, the Astros had him out to throw out a first pitch. And like all the guys who played under him in that World Series, everybody came back. And he was beloved. So he'll be missed. We got some great stories coming up.
Yeah.
After
The baseball
7.
guy's baseball guy right there.
Yeah, no doubt. Dolph, thank you for dropping by. Appreciate it.
All right, fellas,
as
enjoyed
always.
it.
Our boy Hunter's going to join us in about an hour, and we'll get the latest. Yelich injured, Brewers 0-5 going into an off day today, and then a series against the defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays.
We're rarely saying an April 13th necessary off day, but today's a good one to have.
It's a good one to have. Except unless you're Armen, you wait till Thursday to take another day off. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Give us your game balls and kicks to the balls, 877-794-1973. Ryan and Muskego, come on, you got to give a kick to the balls to the parents arrested yesterday at the Mosh Performance Center in Franklin. Parents were fighting at a third grade basketball tournament. If you want an update in the youth sports world, that's it.
Felt a little twinge.
Well, Ryan,
I didn't see that story.
That goes without saying.
Third grade?
I mean, yeah.
Third grade, yeah.
Any fight over youth sports where a gun or a bat is brandished as a weapon, not good.
Yeah, any fight involving youth sports that kick to the balls is squarely by you, and then also by potentially the youngster that ends up having to bring it up for the next 15, 20 years.
And it always seems like the kids are more mature than the parents in those situations. Am I wrong in saying
you might
that?
not be lying.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember I saw a random one on YouTube because it came up in the algorithm of some fight amongst parents, and the kids were like shaking hands. Basically, it was a hard foul, but they were like cool with it. And then the parents started fighting. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we know this is a trend now, so go crazy.
Who's hot, who's not, brought to us by Donovan Jorgensen, your heating and cooling experts. Windows open, didn't need the heat on for once. That was a nice change. But air conditioner tune-ups might be in order because hot weather will be upon us sooner than you think. And Donovan Jorgensen is your place for all HVAC needs. Billy, what do we got for who's hot, who's not?
Well, how about Bryce Terang? Not only the 2 homers yesterday, but he's got a 19-game on-base streak dating back to last season still rolling for Bryce Terang. So he'll stay in the hot category even after working through a little bit of tendonitis with that ankle. Otherwise, feels like you could just throw the entire Milwaukee Brewers into the not category, but we will throw Angel Serpa into the not category because he's still giving up runs in each of his last 3 outings. They survive it and win. He ends up getting his only save in his career on Monday night in the lone win of the week against Boston. But an inning and 2/3 on Friday night against Washington gives up an Ernie. And then yesterday, 4 credited towards Angel Serpa as the Brewers cascade and fall down the back of the dinosaur, catching 3 L's to the Washington Nationals over the weekend. And they get James Woods. This guy is a very, very good player. However, he had himself a banner weekend, did one James Bigwood, because he was able to, thank you, homer, 3 doubles, felt like he had 7 doubles, ends up with 6 hits on the weekend, including a 4 for 5 with 2 double game on Friday night.
He hit a ball Friday night, was like 116 off the bat. It was the hardest ball hit like all week in the major leagues.
I thought you had to check the wall because the wall could have been hurt on that one. Now, he was he's a big, imposing cat, and he's 23 years old. And he was in the home run derby last year. He was definitely my favorite guy and the most anticipated to watch in the derby last year. Fell flat. I think you might see him in a few more.
A lot of folks thought that CJ Abrams would be the guy to be traded by the Nats, but there'll be some interest in him.
There'll be some big interest in that bat.
Absolutely.
100%. And I'm still interested in CJ Abrams, by the way. If that would be a possibility, that would be a one.
Who's not, brought to us by Donovan Jorgensen Heating and Cooling.
And they're always hot. They got 60-month 0% interest deal going on right now on select systems. DonovanJorgensen.com, place to be.
They are employee owned and been doing it for 40 years.
40
It's
years.
the place to go.
You're always seeing those big blue trucks out helping people out. So go be involved with them.
877-794-1973. Game balls and kick to the balls. The floor is yours. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. A Sunday night bombshell from Madison as Wisconsin Athletic Director Chris McIntosh is leaving his post immediately to take a newly created position in the Big Ten office. McIntosh's 5-year run mixed. Success in some sports, but failures in the catalyst of college athletics. Football will define his tenure. Football program general manager Marcus Sedberry becomes the interim AD until a successor is named. What could have been McIntosh's final achievement came up just short on the ice one night before. The Badgers in the national championship game at the Frozen Four, they lose to juggernaut Denver 2-1. Moving on to golf, history made at the Masters. Rory McIlroy hangs on to become just the 4th repeat champion at Augusta National. To basketball, the Bucks season comes to a merciful end. They lose to the 76ers 126-106. Doc Rivers done as Bucks head coach. And then the struggling Brewers, they get swept by the Nationals at American Family Field 8-6. The final hour of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Bill for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 hit. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. Sit down now and make the play. Be right all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh my God, this man's been out all night.
and Armen
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, bringing it to you live. 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere on the iHeart app. Streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Drew Olson, Bill Schmid, Armen Sarian, bringing it to you.
Come on now. Big Monday whenever we are able to get game balls and kicks to the balls in here, but also it's a huge Monday when it marks the return of Armen Sarian. And
yes,
that is not lost on us on
Feels
this
good to be back.
Post-Masters Monday, where in a tradition unlike any other, generally speaking, when Armen returns from any length of absence, Drew, he'll play like Mac is back. Like he'll find a way to tribute himself in the return.
True. Yeah, usually
I was
done
waiting
that.
for you to hit Return of the Mac to be able to celebrate the fact that you are back into the saddle again.
Yeah.
Maybe some Aerosmith. I did think there would be a tribute to yourself coming back, because generally that's a staple.
Well, when I came back after Lennon was born, I did have a long open masterpiece.
I think it was 4 minutes
open.
long.
But, this is a little different. It's just a week vacation. I mean, we've all got a week vacation every now and then. So I don't think this should be as much of a call for a long masterpiece like that.
It has been in the past.
Yeah, that's true, Billy. Maybe, but, maybe Return of the Mac at some point. But the reality is, so much has happened this weekend in local sports. I mean, we have so many stories going on that it's just been a chock full day. So maybe I can fit one of those things in at some point.
That's nice of you to let the news of the weekend be the news and not make it about yourself. That's big of you. That's rather mature.
I don't want to think I have main character syndrome, and I'm hoping I don't. But, maybe sometimes that does come in there into play a little bit. So
Game balls and kicks, 877-794-1973. If you would like to weigh in, who's the next Bucks coach and who's the next Badgers AD? Those are the two big stories yesterday.
Yeah, clearly the two biggest ones. Now, the AD, I got more of an idea, at least who people would want for the AD than Bucks coach, because Jamie Pollard's name has just been flying around. Now, he's the current AD at Iowa State. Obviously, they've had a tumultuous year or so with how many guys have. Well, one guy left, and everyone wants to get TJ Otzelberger out of there. Now he's committed in a new deal to coaching the team next year. Pollard has had a difficult run where they've had mentions of possibly having to shut down certain sports and talked about the ever-changing NIL landscape being very, very difficult in names. So maybe that would be a possibility. As a Wisconsin native, Wisconsin alum, it would be a good name. So I feel like that's the name that I've heard first, Drew, on who people want. Because let's be honest, we want to clearly identify who people want. We're coming up on draft season. We want to know who people want. So then you know exactly who it won't be. You want to know who the consensus is on what people are hoping for, because then you can pivot to know that it'll be option B or C.
Yeah, it never is. It's never the guy you think.
It's never Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, it's
So,
never Cooper DeJean, indeed.
Jamie Pollard from Oshkosh.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Titan, UW Oshkosh. He has been at Iowa State for like 25 years after being the number 2 guy behind Alvarez for several years.
Yeah, WAD for a long time.
There's a guy, I don't know how much longer he wants to work, or if he's settled in Ames and doesn't want to come back. Does he want to, like, at age 61, do you want to take one last challenge and one last swing at finishing up at Madison? Maybe.
And again, it then becomes, do you want to have, where do you want your last legacy to be? There's a lot of people that love him in Ames, Iowa, rightfully so. Then there's also that, like, seemingly had some Matt Campbell syndrome to it. Was like, yeah, well, we'll see what else we can do, right? We'll see what else we could possibly
Fred
do.
Hoiberg, TJ Otzelberger, Matt Campbell got like $150 million worth of renovations of the facilities. He's had quite a run there.
A really, really good run. And that would be a last grab. The other thing is, like, this then becomes, when you start hiring for one of these positions, you do it when it's men's basketball or football, when you start identifying, in these teams and universities a lot of times have maybe a dose of reality. Like Penn State was one. Now, coincidentally, so that was where Matt Campbell left Iowa State to go to, was Penn State. But I mean, Penn State thought, sweet, we're just going to hire Kurt Signetti and it'll be awesome. It's like, well, no, actually I have a team that's going to go to the national championship, so you can kick rocks. And then they had to kick down 5, 6, 7 different candidates and them all get extensions before you go. So you can always shoot for the moon. And people, it's one of my favorite statements is, make this guy say no. Well, then you do. And then you have to restart the entire list. That's going to be a tough one to be able to calibrate.
And it does become humbling for those groups, those fan bases, those alumni bases, those brain trusts, presidents, ADs, what have you, when they are said no, they do get said no to 8, 9 times. And then it's like, okay, well, not only are we not getting the guy we thought we wanted, we have to settle on somebody, convince ourselves this is the guy we're happy with getting, while emotionally processing that we aren't who we thought we were. And that is hard for a lot of organizations. So it is going to be interesting to see what happens in the next steps here, in the next regard for the Badgers, and for that, for that matter, for the Bucks, and all these different changes that are going to be made, because this is we mentioned it earlier in the show. This is a totally new college landscape. This is a totally new job. AD is not the AD job that it was even 5, 10, 20 years ago. Obviously, it's a fundraising job now, and you have to be able to manage all that and continuously feed the NIL beast, because that's what people want. And as much as I hear fans say the system is a mess, the system is broken, guys are asking for too much in the portal, well, that's going to happen until people stop caring about winning, because that's what it's about. I mean, if you want to win, you're going to have to get players and you're going to have to compete. And I'll tell you right now, people aren't going to stop caring about winning. So that's just the reality of the situation. So it's going to be interesting to see, because it's a whole new landscape of a job now in college sports.
Yeah, you're not lying about that, Armen. It is one of those things that until people tell me that winning the most games and winning titles and making sure that we look better than them, and it not being a big measuring contest with your university, Drew, until I believe that that's no longer the case in college sports, then that job won't be what it is. But it is. It's a fundraising gig, and you have to be able to bark up the right trees. But let's also, as much as the 4-8 record is a part of it, no doubt about it, McIntosh is leaving it a little bit better than just if it was in the middle of October last year, right? Like, they did just get the bill passed by Governor Evers. They're in the process of building the Kellner Center and the new athletic facility. So it's starting to move, but then it goes, all right, now if the wheels are in motion, you better keep them things rolling and be able to get this thing up the hill, because it is a high hill to climb in a Big Ten that is only going to be more funded year in and year out.
And tougher. And he did leave a lot of the sports in better shape. The problem is the biggest and obviously most important one, football, is the issue right now. So
that's the engine.
Yeah,
absolutely. Game Balls and Kicks, 877-794-1973. Dan in West Bend. How about Brian Butch for the new Bucks coach?
Hit that bell. Come on now.
What a game. I'll give him a game ball
Mr.
for
Sweat
that.
Equity? How good
man,
would
that
that
would
be?
it would just be amazing to see Butch on the sideline. Here's
Butch
the thing.
he knows the team. He's doing the Locked On Bucks podcast after the games.
He is, and if that happens, I want to see him bring a suit back to the sidelines. Come on, Butchie in a suit.
Let's go.
Roaming the sidelines.
Butch is a total tracksuit.
Oh yeah. You kidding me? He's going right to the quarter zip. That's
No
right.
question. Kick to the balls, and we don't really need this.
Felt a little twinge.
Because it happens all year in the stand-up for cancer. Kick to the balls to cancer.
Yeah,
We're claiming two of the best guys I've come across in sports. Henry Mason, longtime Badgers receivers coach, huge impact on the players, beloved by everybody.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like the Howard Moore of the football side.
Mm-hmm.
Henry
That's
Mason,
the perfect example to it.
was beloved, and he was such a big glue guy for the program for years. Guys who came into contact with him loved him. Like I mentioned, I had him as a weekly guest on a radio show for a while, and just one of the nicest guys. And Phil Garner, both succumbing to cancer. And Gar was special, man, because my first major league beat was covering him, and the impact that the first guy has on you. And the relationship you have with the manager. And he helped me so much as a reporter, taught me about baseball every day, conversations we would have. And he was a bit of a visionary. I was telling Billy some of his ideas. And tell you the kind of guy that Phil was. We have so many stories where it was just, they didn't win a lot, but he was good natured and they played hard. They did the best they could. He knew it was, he's playing freshman against varsity a lot of times.
Knew the problems that the job has, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knew it. A couple of times he let it get to him. There's probably a famous, I don't know if Doug or like Les Grobstein's archives have the tape of him at Wrigley with the Albert bleeping Bell story. Not Albert Bell hitting Fernando Vina.
Different deal.
No, different deal.
One.
It was like we had spent the pregame and Hardecourt was beating him up because like your roster is messed up. You have more catchers than outfielders right now on your roster. What are you guys doing? Like you're going to get hung out and you're going to be a player short and it's going to be brutal. And he's like, we got good players.
We got good guys.
And that day at Wrigley, the Brewers had a chance to win, and they had guys on base against Rod Beck, and the only guy they had left was a rookie Todd Dunn to pinch hit, and Todd Dunn struck out on some Bugs Bunny changeups from Rod Beck, and Hardecourt comes down and like afterwards he's like, "See, I told you."
Where you're at.
He couldn't wait to hit him. Like the first question, like, "See, I told you your roster is screwed up and you were going to get hung out." And Vigar just like, Tom, he said, don't you think I'd like to have Albert bleeping Bell up in the ninth inning with the game on the line? Well, I don't have Albert bleeping Bell. I'm not going to get Albert bleeping Bell, and Albert bleeping Bell's not going to be part of our team, and it's not going to bleeping change. So stop asking me about the roster. And everybody's like freaking out, but this is like the discourse would seem heated, and he had this reputation of being scrap iron, but it was all with love. I mean,
for sure.
It was just like almost sometimes for comedic effect.
There's an understanding and where you're able to have the personality of a person and a human being in the job. He allowed himself, it sounds like, to be a human being.
And a lot of
in the
times I
job.
was the only guy on the road during that era. I was the only guy who traveled. And so I'd be waiting outside the clubhouse with a bunch of AP stringers. And like, they'd be like, "What's Garner going to be like after a loss like that?" I'm like, "Oh, you just wait." And we'd be standing outside. And one night it was really a long lockout. Like they're making a player move or something. And there was no PR guy. And then we're waiting. I'm looking at my watch. Like, this is longer than usual. What the hell's going on? And then Gar comes out and he's eating a spare. He's getting a rib. And he's like, "Let these fine people of the Fourth Estate in. They got a job to do. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for the wait. Come
That's
on
awesome.
in." And he let us in. The PR guy didn't let us in. Gar came. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what it's going to be like." And the guy's like, "Oh, good. I thought it was,
I was nervous.
I was nervous."
What a guy.
nervous.
Not a lot of guys
So,
like that, right?
Gar lived in Houston where he played at the end of his playing career, and he was a big ambassador for Houston. He loved it there.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Brewers played there in interleague, we're hanging out at the Astrodome, and it's getaway day, and their team's flying home. And he's like, "Hey, what's your deal? What are you doing after the game?" I said, "Well, I got time. My flight's out of Bush Airport, and I'm going to finish my story and find a place to have dinner, take my rental car back, and go to the airport. And I'm going to kill like 5 hours or something." He's like, "Well, that's dumb. Because why don't you just go to my place?" He fishes his keys out. And he's like, "Yeah, stop at my place. There's nobody there.
Hang out there for a
20,
while.
It's 20 minutes from the airport.
Wow.
You can go to my house and chill out."
Give me his house keys.
He can give me his house keys. Like, "Nobody's home. Carol and the kids are gone. Like, you can just go there and hang out and just relax at my place and just bring me the keys tomorrow." I'm like, "Gar, I appreciate that, but I'm not going to your freaking house, right?
I'm not going to walk in and check out.
Somebody might think that I'm breaking in or
Right.
something, but I'm not going to like walk around and snoop through you. I'm not going to your house. He insisted. He was like mad that I didn't take his keys. Like, why would you not?
Start getting personally offended. What? My house isn't good enough for you, Drew?
Like, why would you not?
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
Gar, that's all good. He lived in Kingwood, and I'm like, no, that's okay. Appreciate the offer, though. That was one of his finer moments. That's the kind of dude he was.
That's
right?
incredible. I mean, how many people are going to give it, especially as a manager to a beat reporter,
I'm like,
the keys to his house?
I'm not going to your house, dude. He was
Oh,
offended that I didn't do it. So we got to know his family.
Awesome.
Really just a great kids, great family. His daughter worked at Harley Davidson and spent the summer here as an intern. And it was such a good relationship. Like, you'll never be like that again. You'll never have that. Right. And the coaches are so guarded now. I'm trying to think of who.
There's such a fear of the information.
Was like a go-to guy. I mean, Ron Wolf would return everybody's calls, but it was professional, and that was probably the closest thing.
A fear of being
Rob
open,
and Bob.
To your point, Billy, a fear of being open. In some ways, the closest we could get maybe is what we have with Murph now. Murph's open, and he's pretty gregarious with media. And Hunter would tell us that, but that's probably as close as you'll get now, right, to it.
Yeah, there's such a fear of any information getting out. But there's also just like, Gar then played in an era where you lived a common life, right? Now, obviously, you were an uncommon individual as a pro athlete, but you were able to live a normal life. Now, the way that certain players and managers who ended up playing started living in a little bit more of that time, you just have grown up a totally different way.
Yeah.
There's a casual nature of just being a human being that is kind of escaped us from a lot of years. And there's something special to knowing and hearing about him as a player and as a manager.
Yep.
He feels like the greatest calling card to, he could relate to every single human being in the locker room.
Yep.
Because you allowed yourself to be
absolutely
in all of their shoes. And all anybody ever wants to be is respected. And when you can respect everyone's time the same as the best player on the team to the local beat guy who's working his first job on the newspaper, that just shows the quality of guy you end up being.
Yeah. He was another time the Brewers were playing Detroit, another getaway game, and I had a tight flight on this one. I had to leave Tiger Stadium. It was an afternoon getaway game, middle of the week, and I got to get to the airport so I can get home. And the old Tiger Stadium, the dugouts were sunken, and you were kind of looking up, and it was really weird. You're almost like below ground level, and they let the grass grow long, so it was actually hard to like see and stuff. It was like being in a duck blind. Kinda. It was very hard. It was a weird view. It was a weird layout. And during this game, I was pitching, as always, spent a lot of my time bitching about the time of game and the pace of play. This was pre-pitch clock, obviously.
Kidding. Garner will love the pitch clock.
And there's a ball hit to the Brewers left fielder, and it's a shoe top thing, and the umpire called it a trap and base hit. And Gar goes jogging out there and talks to him for a little bit. I'm just like, what do you do? You're killing me. What are you doing? And like, there's no way you could see from the dugout, the grass. Like, there's no way you could see. And so I immediately, I'm downstairs. I'm like, Gar, you're killing me. I got a tight flight out of here. What are you doing arguing that call? He goes, oh, Mr. Smarty Pants, you think I was arguing the call? I'm like, no. Yeah, of course. You went out there. You delayed the game for a couple minutes. What the hell? He said, I wasn't arguing at all. I went out there because it was a hot day, and it's like 85, 90 degrees. And he's like, it was a hot day. And the third base umpire, and I think it was like Jim Joyce or something, ran out and was in position to make the call, hustled out there. He goes, I went out there to congratulate the umpire and say I appreciated him hustling and making the call. I couldn't see it. I told him I didn't see it, but I said I appreciate because you busted your ass down there and got out there and made a call. And he's like, he was trying to curry favor with the guy for a trip, for
trying to help you out next time.
Yeah. Right. But he's like, I was out there and I was applauding him and saying, good job for the hustle. And I'm like, well, it looked like
you umpires, Drew. All right.
I said, It looked like you were dressing him down and arguing. He goes, well, it might have looked like that, but that's not what I did. And I'm like, oh, well, either way, you're killing me on time of game.
Funny.
What are you doing?
Well, you choose now when I'm on a tight flight out of here to be a good guy.
What are you
Come
doing?
on, Phil.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
You always felt like, even though the Brewers teams in the 90s weren't winning, weren't winning enough and didn't have the records you wanted, right? Couldn't get to 500 after 92. You always felt like they were well managed. At least that's how it felt like to me when Gardner was the manager in the 90s. You always felt like this team was well managed. He knew baseball. He was a good leader. They just didn't have the talent, I always felt that way, at least for me as a young boy growing up watching the Brewers in that era, my formative years in the 90s. And you always remembered the 92 year, his first year, what he could do if he had that talented type of team, and he did have that guy.
Cal Eldred was the Miz that year.
All those guys, right.
Mustache, rookie of the year.
Had the great staff. Malders last year. Robin Yount still had a good year. So, and Darrell Hamilton was a young guy, Listash.
Mhm.
So it was
Vaughn.
Vaughn. It's pretty interesting to think about that. He was a good, good baseball
The
player.
other one also in Detroit, last weekend of the season. Brewers are going nowhere. It's the last weekend of the season. So it's like the ultimate getaway weekend. And it's a Friday, the first game of the series in Detroit. And I walked in the clubhouse and I could tell something was off. You get these spidey senses. Like something's going on. Somebody get sent out. Like the last weekend, what could happen? Something was going on. I could feel it in the air. I didn't find out. I asked some of my go-to guys, what's going on here? Like, I got nothing for you, man. Can't tell you nothing. All right. Well, that's weird. Go up to the press box after the availability. It's an hour before the game. Phone rings in the press box. Drew Olson, call. So I go down to the PR guy's phone. It's like, I figure it's my wife or my desk calling me.
Something important.
Something's going on. Hey, Drew, it's Gar. Come on back down here, will you?
What?
All right. So I come on back down, and the security guard's outside the clubhouse, and the guy goes, "Are you Drew?" Yeah, they're waiting for you. Go to Gar's office. So just walk right through it. Don't go to where the team is, but go right to Gar's office. Go to Gar's office, and he's got their new left fielder acquired in the trade that year, Mark Newfield, with him.
Newfield of Dreams, yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, hey, Drew, just so you know, Mark was arrested this afternoon. One of his friends sent him some marijuana in the mail. He was arrested he had a half ounce of marijuana FedEx to him.
Ooh,
and the dog sniffed it out at the airport.
Sam Shields.
And the feds came and he was arrested, and he's not going to have any comment for you now, but I just wanted you to know this." And just he laid it out. So before the game. So I'm like, holy cow. Like, this is a big story. It's like and
yeah, no kidding.
So he told me this, and I barely watched the pitch of the game. I'm calling the Wayne County Sheriff, and I'm finding out what happened in the particulars, and I'm writing basically a crime story. And this was a guy that was a centerpiece of a trade for Greg Vaughn, and he hit 7 homers, and it's like since he had arrived, and
the big guy
he was going to be the left fielder of the future. And like now you look back and you kind of laugh. A weed, half ounce
in the mail too,
especially since it's legal in Detroit now.
Yeah, no
in
kidding. Michigan.
But he did that. Gar did that, and he didn't check with PR or anybody. He's just like, it's the last weekend of the year. We got one beat guy, and he knew that Friday, like the Saturday paper, not many people read or buy the Saturday paper. He's like, if we do that this way, it'll be a one-day story.
And it'll be done.
And if we don't, and he finds out like through, the police reporters in Detroit, it's going to be way worse. And he did that on his own. He had the PR sense to do that. And management wasn't especially thrilled until he explained like his reasoning for it. They were like, "Oh, you shouldn't have stonewalled. You shouldn't have told him. It might not have gotten out." And then he's like, "It's going to get out.
People are going to find out." Yeah.
Say Milwaukee Brewers outfielder, and somebody somewhere is going to, whether it's a TV station, a radio station, AP, somebody's going to find it. So we might as well get out in front of it. And that was a great PR instinct.
Yeah.
So when I talked to like PR class and stuff, that was a great instinct on his part. Like, make it a one-day story, get it. And Mark moved past it. He did his community service, all that. Now, Newfield flamed out for other reasons other than that.
Other than more packages getting sent.
But Gar's instinct in, baseball and crisis PR, in that moment, he made the call, told me, he's like, "We got one guy on the beat, and like it'll be a one-day story."
Yeah, Drew will take care of it.
He read the room. He read the room. He's like, because it would have been worse.
It's crazy how honesty can generally make things a little bit better.
Exactly. He knew, he read that, and he knew it, and that was the right thing to do.
You're 100, and he's 100% true on, let's make this a one-day story, and then instead of a 4-day story in the middle of the offseason when the only thing that people can be talking about the Brewers is our guy getting arrested.
Exactly.
That is really, really smart. And truly ahead of his time. Even like the baseball things that you've told me about and how he saw the game, his belief in where it was going. I mean, that's impressive baseball life.
No question. Great guy, great ambassador. And again, he does deserve a lot of credit. I know George Petak's the guy that people thank, but Gar carried a lot of water, and he was the face of it. And he made people realize that team's not good now, but we're getting better. And in order to be where we want to be, we got to have a stadium. He was the messenger for that.
I was going to say, you want to talk about don't shoot the messenger. He was the one that had to send that pigeon around a lot of different times.
Yep, it was amazing. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the Brewers' current travails with our pal Hunter Baumgardt. He's going to join us. Oh, the injuries are piling up early here, and the Brewers are in a bad way right now. Day off today. Toronto coming in on Tuesday. Hunter Baumgardt is next. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you, the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Happy to be joined by our pal Hunter Baumgardt, live up early on this Monday after a disappointing Brewers weekend in the Wisco jerseys. Good morning, Hunter.
Good morning. Yes, it was a tough weekend at the ballpark, despite the Wisco jerseys, or maybe some people are saying because of the Wisco jerseys.
Burn 'em.
Potentially because of,
Burn them.
Right into that beautiful sunset campfire.
Yeah, and it was interesting because
the Bobber logo.
Oh, yeah, who cares?
Oh, the Bobber logo.
Great
There
logo.
were breakdowns in every area. Like you had Trevor McGill and the PFP. Brewers pride themselves on, defense, and that was leaky with McGill on Friday night. And then they didn't do much after the first inning offensively in that game. And then Saturday, they just kind of didn't hit at all.
Nothing.
And then Sunday, they hit and didn't pitch out of the bullpen, which has been their strength, and it was a bad time for a hiccup. So they're in like bad team syndrome right now, where whatever part of the game they need to be strong is faltering. So, Hunter, where are you with this series? What does it mean in the big picture, and what will it take for the Brewers to right the ship?
Yeah, the first 10 games compared to the last 5 are just incredibly different. I mean, you had 1 error through the first 12 games. You have 6 errors in the last 3. Your bullpen isn't, you have Zerpa, Uribe, and McGill, who are kind of set up to be your 7, 8, 9 guys, all have over 5 ERAs. McGill's ERA sitting at 11 plus. And I get it, we're still early in those numbers, but they tell something, right? They tell some sort of story. And then, of course, like you said, the offense went from one of the hottest, if not the hottest in the league through 10 games to basically nothing. And now you have the injuries piling up as well. It's just been very uncharacteristic of the Brewers. You're seeing kind of the Nationals did to the Brewers, what the Brewers have done to so many opponents over the last couple of years. And it just is, if the Brewers would have went, maybe 500 over the first 10 games, if they would have went 5-5 and then went on a 5-game losing streak, obviously there would be more panic because they'd be like 5-10 or something like that. But it's just puzzling because of how well the first 10 games went. Now, how can they improve? It's going to take some guys obviously coming back, but also, they're just going to need to play better baseball in every facet of the game, it seems, right now.
Yeah. Murph did say they came out lackluster after the series in Boston and the day off, that they didn't show much spark on Friday night, and that set the tone for the weekend. The Nationals battled them. But Hunter, you mentioned it. The Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin injury report is getting long, and Yelich might be added to it. And baseball is so everyday that you sometimes discount, they're playing without Chourio and Vaughn, 2 guys who hit in the top 5 of the order and bring some offense, especially right-handers against lefties. Now Yelich might be down for a while with a hammy. That's not looking good. So, Hunter, if you could, give us the Cliff's notes on Brewers injuries, starting with Yelich and then descending into the guys that are on the comeback trail.
Yeah, we're just waiting word on Christian Yelich, and it's not, it didn't sound great when Pat Murphy says we're awaiting some bad news or expecting it, doesn't sound like it's going to be good news on Christian Yelich. He felt the hamstring twinge, wanted to stay in the game, but Murph's like, it's April 12th. We're not going to have you stay in the game at this point in the season. Get you healthy, get you checked out. So that's what he's doing there. We got some good news on Harrison and Sproat. It doesn't seem like their injuries, both from Saturday night's game, Sproat diving for that ball, and then Harrison getting nailed in the knee by Gary Sanchez's throw. Luckily, it sounds like unscathed for both of those guys. However, Harrison is dealing with some soreness at his wrist from falling when getting hit by that throw by Sanchez in that awkward play at first base. But luckily, it was brutal. That poor Gary had a rough game on Saturday night at first base. He plunked an umpire in the head. The ball bounced off the head, and then he grabbed it and actually got the guy out. It was that Saturday night game was an adventure in every really sense of the word. But then, so those guys, it seems they'll be okay. It sounds like Brandon Sproat will be back in the starting rotation against Toronto if all goes well and if he's healthy. So that's good. Priester had a live BP in Arizona I think it was Thursday or Friday, and it sounded like that really went well, and he felt good afterwards. So he'll pitch in an AZL Brewers game, an Arizona League Brewers game coming up this week, and then hopefully Nashville after that. Chourio and Vaughn continue to come back. Matt Arnold said early May, late last week. The report by the Brewers was mid to late April. I would guess late April, early May for Jackson Chourio, and then you're looking more mid to late May for Andrew Vaughn, although Vaughn was taking some ground balls with that glove hand not taking some ground balls, but doing some little bit of glove work with Matt Erickson on the side. It wasn't ground balls, but it was, out of the machine a little bit, doing a little work. So that's good. So yeah, so those guys are working their way, but like you said, especially against lefties. And who would they face on Saturday night when they really struggled on offense? Another lefty. Who would they face on Tuesday night when they struggled? Garrett Crochet. Obviously, he's one of the best lefties in the game, but that is just their kryptonite right now.
Now, I'd be hypocritical if I was against our guys playing in the WBC because I enjoyed the event so much. But is it safe to say, Hunter, that this Jackson Chourio thing is going on a little longer than they anticipated? Because when Murph talked about it and it comes out the day of opening day, it felt like he was trying to cushion it by saying, like, we've already got a couple of weeks of healing, right? Like, it almost feels like we got a little bit of healing, but then it was re-aggravated the week leading up to. He still hasn't resumed any hitting, and you mentioned that timeline was a little bit different there. You think it's safe to say that this is going on a little longer than they anticipated? Not maybe that he would have been returning these games against Toronto the next couple of days, but it feels like this is an elongated rehab for him where they thought it might have been just a very, very quick 10-day IL stint.
Yeah, I mean, when they first said it on opening day, they said 2 to 4 weeks. Well, right now we're at 2.5, and he hasn't resumed hitting yet. So I think that, and to be honest, it kind of seems like, and Drew, you probably know this too. Like, they set those timelines, and it feels like it always is on the longer end of those timelines too. So that is what it seems like. He's running around. We saw him doing some running and everything, and obviously you can run with a hand injury. But yeah, I mean, look, if he would have gotten hit on March 4th and been shut down, that would have been completely different. But he played in the WBC, and then he played in spring training, and then he played in the exhibition game. So it's like that, it wasn't like he just was sitting there healing. Now, he obviously felt good enough to do that, or else they wouldn't have. And the original imaging did not show damage. And then they finally got it looked at, and maybe that hairline fracture did come in those 3 or 4 weeks while he was playing, and then eventually put him on the IL. So, like you said, as much as we love the WBC, this was a risk, right? We knew it when he got hit in the hand. Pat Murphy jokingly texted, the team, and said, "Hey, let's get him out of there." But obviously, he knew that Chourio was going to want to play. And look, it's a great experience, and it was great for baseball. But that is a risk, and luckily, it looks like he should be back, by at the latest early May. But a month without one of your star players, not optimal for this team.
No, does it seem like to you? And I don't know, you guys can tell me, because obviously I'm always trying to stay positive, but it just feels like this is a carbon copy in a lot of ways of last April, where there was a kind of, even though the Brewers did have a better start, now they're in a little rough patch. Last year was a rougher start, but it felt like there were so many injuries right away off the bat. It felt like this was just such an incomplete team. It was the constant, okay, we got to remind ourselves this is still April. This is not the full Brewers squad we expect to have most of the year. Rather have the injuries now than later. That's kind of the way I looked at it all. I remember last year. I'm trying to look at it that way now. Does it feel that similar to you as it did last year?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think in a way it's the same, but the difference is you have all these injuries to your position player group rather than
Not
your
the
pitching.
pitchers. Yes,
because
yeah.
the pitching was decimated last year in April, and you kept saying, all right, just wait for the pitching to get healthy. And now we're saying, let's wait for the lineup to get healthy. And look, they lost 4 games in a row twice in April last year. Well, I guess one would be March into April with the New York series, but then
Exactly. It was a slow start. Yeah, in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were right around 500, under 500 around Memorial Day. And then, of course, they turned things around with that series against Boston, and the rest is history. But they had a couple. They lost 4 in a row to start the season. They lost 4 in a row in late April. And now, of course, 5 in a row for the first time since 2023. They never lost 5 in a row last year. But I think to me, the most surprising part is the stark difference. But yes, clearly you are looking at the stark differences for the first 10 games compared to the last 5. But you're looking at that lineup, and look, you have a lot of guys that are used to, not that they don't want this opportunity or not trying to take advantage of the opportunity, but they know they're getting the opportunity and maybe pressing a little too hard at times. I mean, Pat Murphy alluded to that on Saturday night, saying that, you have guys who are either stuck in the middle, or they're guys who know they have this opportunity. Like, take a guy like Blake Perkins, right? He knew he wasn't on the opening day roster. now he gets a chance, and now it's probably, it's got to be in your head a little bit of trying to go up to the plate and maybe do a little too much. Lockridge, could be in that same category. He started a little hot, but now it's tailed off for him. Joey started hot, it's tailed off for him. That's got to be in his head a little bit. So I think those guys, especially at the bottom of the order, you're just not getting as much production down there. Terang has been hot. Contreras has been pretty good. Yelich has been pretty good. So that top has been okay. But boy, if you're not getting any production from the bottom half of that lineup, that's where you miss Chourio and Vaughn.
Hunter Baumgardt joining us here on the Huddle. The Brewers are 8-7. Looking up, for some reason, St. Louis is listed ahead of them in the standings, though they have 8-7 records. Reds 9-7. Pittsburgh's 9-6 in first place. Brewers would be in first place in 2 of the 3 divisions in the American League.
That's just unacceptable.
And they're keeping pace right now with both New York teams, as the Mets and Yankees are each in 5-game losing streaks.
All right, there we go. Keeping pace.
That's big. That's something, right?
Keeping pace. Yeah. So, 8-7 is not great, but it's how you get there, because the Dodgers are running away with the West. No shock, right?
Mm-hmm. That was going to be the easiest.
The Padres are in second there. They're 10-6. And last week they were at 5-6, and they've won 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a batting average thing. Things can happen quickly. Like, it can,
it can flip around very easily.
Pretty quickly.
And there's a lot of changes early in the year. We microwave these first few weeks, and we pay attention so much to them. But as we know, there's going to be a lot of time left. So.
We're in it for the long haul. Definitely. All right. So, Hunter, what is the move with Yelich, and what do you think the Brewers' plan will be at DH? Is Sanchez the guy? Is that a risk? What do you think is going to happen?
It's hard to keep Sanchez out of the lineup. I do wonder if they go, I know he's a right-handed bat, but do you bring up Jefferson Caro again? I know Luis Lara is doing great in AAA, but he's not on the 40-man, so that would be a 40-man move. And you could do that. So obviously maybe you put Luis Matos more in there. You're again, it's a left-handed batter. So Luis Matos is righty. Jefferson Caro's righty. I think it's too early for Pratt. I think he's still, he's on the 40-man. So that's why I say bring up his name, but I think they obviously want him. And he was dealing with a little bit of a shoulder last few days as well. So he was back in the lineup over the weekend though, in Nashville, which is good. So that's probably it. I mean, otherwise, depending on how long he's out, though, I wouldn't rule out an outside move. Remember, Quinn Priester was acquired on April 7th last year when the pitching was down. If Yelich is down for a significant period of time, and you're looking at this is just guessing, but if you're saying mid to late May for Yelly and mid to late May for Vaughn, and then Chourio's not till May, at some point you got to say, all right, do we make a little bit of a move here, more significant than a Luis Matos, right? Maybe a step up from that. So I think that could be in the play if Yelich is out for a significant period of time. Like you said, hopefully, maybe it's a lot better than they thought. Maybe we're conditioned to hear bad news right now because of how the injuries have gone, and maybe that's why Pat Murphy was kind of saying that. But Pat Murphy's kind of like, look, it's troubled waters. There's no doubt about that. But that they've been here before. Brandon Woodruff said the same thing in the clubhouse yesterday. Like, look, we look at last year and look at how we came back from that. So it has a similar vibe, just because they're not winning maybe as much as you expect, and they have the injuries.
Good outing by Woody.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was good to see him back at full strength. Also good to see Bryce Terang, 19-game on-base streak, the 2 homers yesterday. And also, Hunter, how different is it going to Bryce Terang's locker and getting legit sound bites? He's been really, really cool with the media. It's exciting to hear from him because he's a baseball guy, baseball player. And when you're this good, people want to hear from you. And he gave some really, really positive feedback to it yesterday.
It was interesting. One time during that interview yesterday, I kind of thought Aaron Rodgers vibes a little bit, and they're both the California cool kind of guy. And I just
he almost did an RELAX, yeah.
It was, yes. And it not Bryce Terang is not obviously as detailed as Aaron Rodgers, quite yet. Rodgers is, obviously very detailed in some of his explanations over the years, but it just kind of had that vibe a little bit to it. And confident in the team. Look, they have a lot of talent on that team, especially when they're healthy, right? They have a lot of talent. They know, the way they want to play. Unfortunately, they just have not played it. Look, when when you talk about the 6 errors, I mean, Gary Sanchez had a couple of them on Saturday night, and it's not like he's played a lot of first base in his career. And so that is a learning, crash course. I mean, we were talking to Matt Erickson, the infield coach, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's like just crash course time. It's like, all right, guys, now go and swim in the deep end here. It's kind of like that with Gary Sanchez, or even if you say who else you want to put there, maybe a Brandon Lockridge, okay, but if you don't want Bowers in the lineup against a lefty, what have you, I tend to think maybe just play your guys at this point, because I don't know if it's worth all the splits and all of that, but they know better than us as far as the numbers go, maybe. But yeah, so I think it is a little bit like that, and it is nice, definitely, to go over to Bryce Terang's locker and hear some of those quotes. And he's kind of look, when you're one of the stars of the team now, you're going to be looked to for quotes at that time.
Always.
Fantastic. That's why Bryce Terang is our current electric superhero of the day.
Come on now, Bryce Terang, superhero of the day.
Hunter, you're a hero as well. Thanks for joining us, bud. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thanks, Hunter.
Bryce Terang with 2 homers and a losing effort, but superhero nonetheless, Billy.
Yeah, listen, Bryce Terang could have been the generator. If the electrical or the offense is out, you just need a Bryce Terang, a superhero, to come out and help you out. Maybe give you a free home generator assessment like they're running right now at Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com, callcurrent.com. It's a free assessment. These spring storms we got rolling on here, you do not want that power to go out for an extended period of time, and the food and medicine in your refrigerator, let alone
good point,
that sump pump goes out downstairs.
Oh gosh, don't even say it.
It's better with like 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row of rain. Don't even think about it. Callcurrent.com.
Fantastic. When we come back, closing ceremonies already. Time flies on a Monday with Armen back. Game balls and kicks, all the fun we're having. Got a wake and bake story hosted up for you coming up next. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Closing ceremonies have arrived to the Monday edition of the Huddle. Armen's triumphant return into a very newsy day. What with Doc Rivers blown out, Chris McIntosh stepping aside. Boy, leadership vacuum at UW.
Crazy. Yeah.
Impressive stuff, man. You
Chancellor need an AD.
You a system president in there,
all been
and
forced out.
At least we got jobs open. I mean,
Yeah.
man, the
well, that's fair.
economy,
We got jobs.
You know,
That's true. That's true.
got jobs open.
Brewers scuffling. Bucks done. NBA playoffs firing up tomorrow. Our cup is pretty full, and we'll start talking about the draft this week because it's a little more than a week away.
I got a couple that I've dug very, very deep into the beast at The Athletic, the draft guide. I've got a couple of names that I've already circled later into rounds or day 2 and day 3. So, Drew, we'll find a couple, and then they'll get drafted 500 spots away, or an hour of a different spot. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Time for our Wake and Bake story, brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Rob and Chris, two of the best, making the best products you'll find anywhere in the CBD realm. Right here locally, Drift Seltzer's amazing, Drift Gummies as well.
The best.
Use the code HUDDLE, throw the rest of them away. HUDDLE, 25% off, plus free shipping. Save the money. You do it online. If you can't make it to Muskego to the store, they'll ship really quick. So make it happen. HappyPlaceHemp.com, code HUDDLE, 25% off and free shipping. Billy, what do you got for Waking and Bacon?
Well, I think the best kind of wake and bake story that we possibly could have was the story that Drew told right at the tail end of our first segment in the 7 o'clock hour. If you missed any bits of our tribute and remembrance of Phil Garner, go and hear it. But Brewers left fielder Mark Newfield, waking and bacon, thinking that you can just have it sent to your hotel room. He wasn't using promo code HUDDLE and getting it legally shipped for free with 25% off to his front door. See, that's the part of this. You now live in a world where, Mark Newfield or you could go to happyplacehemp.com. It could be shipped to your door in discreet packaging, and you don't have to go and talk to the Pete guy an hour before first pitch.
That was something else.
That is, and it also got me to look up the Sam Shields story, and that one might be even worse. But
goodness. All right,
for him.
No Brewers tonight, so enjoy a quiet evening.
I guess I'm gonna have to talk to my family.
We will reconvene tomorrow at 5 a.m. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll do some buying or selling. We'll see you at 5.
Peace.